What's up, guys? Yeah. All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Thirsty Thursday. Just getting situated here, getting the link out to our special guest.
Excuse me, it's situated.
Getting situated. Our special guest, you know him, you love him, it's Sean FireFart. So we are going to make sure he's got the link because he doesn't have Twitter. So I got to open my email and you think my email.
I could write a letter to the guy with the link if it would help.
It might, honestly, it might go faster. Anyway, we love them. So means I gotta wait because of course my internet always goes the slowest right when we're getting ready to start.
Yeah.
Stream.
Oh, it's speaking.
It's kitten. He's gonna be like, what?
Yes, now part of the tribe.
Exactly. All right, so he's got the link now. I'm showing off my tan lines tonight. We've been swimming.
Ooh, Will Gentry is definitely, he knows what's up for tonight's show.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Will, if you would have caught the World Class Bullshitters podcast, we did talk about it extensively over there, but happy to answer your question here tonight.
There's always more to talk about.
I could talk about James Bond every day and not get tired of it.
Probably going to do a lot of that tonight, so I hope you like Bond, guys.
You know what? I have a lot to say, but I have a lot to say on other things, too.
That was very
like how I'm excited to drink tonight's new selection of boozes.
Oh, that's true. So if you're listening over the end of the World Class Bullshitters podcast, I was cleaning out the fridge a little bit and discovered that we actually have this nearly full bottle of gin that was just hiding out in the back. So I knocked something down here, and so per that discovery, I ran out and grabbed the obvious choice, some tonic and some limes, which works out great, actually, because
premium shot.
Yes, because our Maker's Mark is hiding somewhere.
This is an upgrade, in my opinion.
So we found this. Turns out we still have. This is like, it turns out we still have done it together. I thought we were down to that little bit of Don Julio we had left. And then Jeff was like, wait a second, just before the stream, he was looking around to see what we could do to see if he could find the makers, I guess, or what he could find, pulls this out of the freaking world. So that's your 50 plus, you can make us do tequila shots tonight. Hooray!
I'm down for tequila shots.
And we have limes to go with it if we so choose. So, Raging Rhino, thank you for the super sticker. We'll drink for that as soon as we get our boy Sean up in here. But let's pull that up on screen. Let me toggle over here so I can see what it is. Oh, it's a dancing pear. He's got a party hat on. He's got a little party.
Well, he's ready to rage.
Oh, he is ready for Thirsty Thursday. I wonder if he's at home drinking or if he misses being here on the stream. Rhino, any week you want, if you want to just let us know, you want to pop on, do Thirsty Thursday, just reach out. You got a standing invite. We've had a blast both times you've been here. So you were certainly more than welcome. And here, he's ready. We've got Sean. Let's drink. Let me read this.
Hold on a second. There we go. That'll solve the echo problem. Everything good on your end on sound?
Delightful. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know why StreamYard's still been shit in the bed with that stuff. I had to wear headphones yesterday for the matriarch. I usually never have to do that. So
yeah.
Fortunate I didn't have that issue today.
Okay. So what is up, Sean? How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's been hot here, as you can imagine. Too hot.
We're coming into a heat wave. We got upgraded from what I said earlier. It's going to be 109, 110 for us over the weekend.
I don't like that here. I don't think you guys are going to like it there.
Not so much. Especially because it's been uncharacteristically humid for us this summer, which I like even less.
Hey, I'm with you on that. Humidity sucks ass.
Hey, real quick in the chat, Wheezy Bird. I started watching Hunter x Hunter or whatever that you sent us. So thank you. I really enjoyed it. I'm only a couple episodes in, but I think it's a really fun show. And then he mentioned one other thing. That's why I just went to bring this up because he sent all that anime stuff. And I forgot to mention on my show, but he's here, so I don't have to bring it up next time. And he also said...
I hope these are cold enough because the gin was in the fridge.
I can live with it being a little whatever.
I actually have something I didn't have last time.
Oh, yeah? Whoa. Hey, perfect. We were just... I don't know if you heard us. Wait, we're getting out. We have tequila here as well. So
yes.
That's going to be our premium shot for the night. That's enough.
Oh, but Okay,
You
sorry.
guys are gotta agree. Like, there is so much difference between, like Jose, just cheap as you can get, and then quality tequila.
Oh yeah.
Big difference.
I don't fuck with that Jose shit no more.
Don
That was
Julio
like
is my favorite right now.
that was college. That was end of high school and college for me.
Dion
But,
got the shittiest tequila. It's called Toro Loco, and the lid was a hat. The first thing to this brand was, it could peel paint. It was the nastiest, gnarliest shit, but that's what tequila was. And then you have really good stuff. I mean, Patron used to be whatever, used to be good. Now it's kind of, I think, got bought out, changed a little bit overpriced. But we both had good tequila. And
I like the Cabo that I've got, and I also really like Don Julio, but man, it's pricey.
I have a listener who brings us a bottle every convention we work.
That's
Nice.
wasn't it on sale when we got the bottle that we got?
Yes.
It was on like a really nice sale or something.
And the only reason we bought this brand because it's like a $50
it was like a
bottle.
super nice bottle that was on like stupid
It
sale.
was like $17 or some shit like that. Or
Yeah.
Oh God, that's awesome.
That's why we bought multiples. We had to buy multiples.
We did it. It was like buy like 2 or 3 or something.
We also had to buy that goddamn beer.
Oh my God.
Because
we were drinking Negra Modelo for
it was
freaking
3 for $27.
forever.
3 24 packs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hell of a deal. Oh, what you got there, Sean?
I still got a ton of Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Nice. We need to get some of that.
I can't go wrong with that.
Sure.
What was I going to say?
Reserves for the boys.
Oh, and in honor of Chadwick Boseman, and this isn't just because of Chad. I've had a lot of folks I've known deal with this. So,
oh yay!
I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, really, and it's a terrible disease. It really puts people through some serious shit. And I have such respect for the fact that this guy kept it private because he just didn't want to talk about it. It's his private business. And I'm just sad he's gone at 43. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I know like a lot of people, like you were saying, they're getting on the Black Panther thing, but I'm like, look, I liked him in everything I saw him in.
Likewise.
I liked him in 42. I liked him in Black Panther. I didn't see the James Brown flick, although I did want to see that. I haven't gotten around to it.
Well, HBO Max will tell you all about
it. Yeah, I would like to see it. Just,
I want to see it for the music. Or watch it for the music.
Yeah.
I like it.
But it's also like, hey, wouldn't mind, hitting all of Chadwick Boseman's unfortunately limited filmography.
That includes The Doors, though. Remember we looked it up?
It does. It does indeed.
One thing I will say about biopic movies these days, I like them, but I don't really trust them because they don't get into the heavier topics. Like NWA Straight Outta Compton really soured me on like how you present very famous events.
Yeah.
Or how you
well,
them.
One of the things that I always
that woman.
One of the things that I always look at with biopics is how involved are the people it's about, and it tells you a lot about how honest you're gonna get. So like the guys were very involved in Straight Outta Compton, so you're not gonna get this. You're gonna get they're going to be selective. Same thing. Like I'm pretty sure Brian Day was really involved in Bohemian Rhapsody. The band, I believe, was very involved in how that got presented and stuff like that. Yeah. I think when you're in a situation where the person's passed on and you're not, that's why, like, even though the family was really against Green Book, the family of the pianist, I forget, blanking on his name now. I'm like, I don't necessarily, the family like, that's not true. This is not, you portrayed him this and that way. Thanks, Luke. I'm like, I don't know how, I'm not necessarily taking that criticism to heart, as a way to detract from the movie. I know a lot of people love to point to stuff like that when they want to take away from the truth, the film, like, oh, well, the family hates it. They don't think it's accurate representation. Like, well, maybe they didn't know that certain sides of him, and maybe, maybe there are certain details that aren't super true to life that are a little embellished for dramatic purpose that the family's pissed off about. Maybe there are certain others that the family, would have preferred not to come to light, but are actually true. So
yeah, I know. I actually really liked Rocket Man. I thought it was a little bit of a different take on doing a biopic of a rock star, and that they kind of made it a musical.
I still haven't seen that one.
I will watch it now. I kind of promised her I'd take her to see it.
And I felt like it was, and Elton John said, he's like, I didn't want to do like a PG-13 movie. I led an R-rated life. So it's unapologetic about the fact that he did a ton of drugs. You know, he lived the sex, drugs, rock and roll, and it was honest about that. And
I do think that's something that's unique to Elton John. Not isn't completely unique to him, but that's different from certain other artists. Is, you know, going what he went through as being one of the first out musicians. I think he has set a precedence in his legacy for being unapologetic about who he is, which I think gives you a little more freedom to say, you know. And there's also a certain extent to which you get to play that card too. And usually it's not a good thing when you do that, but I think you have an opportunity here as Elton John. If anyone wants to be like, oh, I can't believe you did all these drugs and acted this way and this and that, you know, to come out and be like, dude, I was dealing with being an out musician at a time where it wasn't fucking cool. You know how hard my life was? Quit, you know, and just pull that card and be like, shut the F up. Who cares? Yeah. You know, and that's totally when I would pull that card, is be like, screw you. You try living the life I live and never touching any illicit substances and whatnot.
Well, and that's the thing, though. It's like, I'd rather have someone say, well, this is the life I led, so this is the life I want to tell you about, rather than, well, I'll tell you about what I want to tell you about, and, you know, I'm not going to tell you the truth, you know. It was good. And one thing I always like to point out when, this is the thing about, and this is a gun community thing, because people, of course, are like, oh, you gun guys, you know, I go into gun stores and it's just a bunch of country music or rock and roll. Now, I'm sitting there one day and I'm literally looking at the reloading section. So I'm looking at bullets and I'm looking at gunpowder that I'm buying. Some guy's right next to me. The song Tiny Dancer comes on the radio. And I looked up and I went, oh, good song. And the guy looks next to me and he goes, no, great song. So I'm just making a point. You got two guys, you know, being as guy as we can be in a gun store. And we're sitting here praising Elton John and enjoying the music. So, you know, it's not always about appearances.
Absolutely. Agreed. I think that's a great little story. But I think we are far too sober right now. So let's just a few of these super chats. Get a sip in. We've got a super sticker from Raging Rhino. That's our pair having a party. We're clearly ready for Thirsty Thursday. So let's take a sip for him. Ooh. And that was a nicely balanced tune too.
I agree.
I was like waiting for the usual, because like from the vodka bite and stuff, and I'm like, nope, that was delicious. Let me get this rolling on the bottom for those of you who aren't familiar for some reason yet with the Mindless Entertainment drinking rules. We got Craig Kirby says, a sip for Shippy Cake and My Cat Pumpkin. Cheers.
I tell you what,
amen.
Kitties. And Bobby James, thank you also for the super sticker. Good to see you out there.
Bobby James.
Always a fun addition to our Thirsty Thursday evenings.
Whoa.
Holy shit. Okay. So I just wanted to do with super sticker. Just trying to see what it was. We got some fist bumping from Bobby James. You want to act it out?
You know my favorite one is, right? For Fresh Prince Bel-Air, ready?
Wow. I'm a fan of this.
Oh, we got a 50 already.
Yeah.
Ready?
Oh yeah. Well, I've done that here. The way I do turkey, go for a high five. Turkey.
Yeah.
And then we go for a fist bump. Snail. And then hand high five. Giraffe.
I've never heard of that one.
Those are the ones I know. I love those. Kids love those too. And Bear Business One says, did someone say tequila? And I know I heard guns. Thanks for the content. Well, thank you for the super chat and the tequila. Are you gonna want a lime with your tequila?
Yeah, because we have it.
We have 8 limes, so I don't think we're going to 8 G&Ts.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having to drink G&Ts.
Look,
it's just gonna be an ugly.
I'm ready to go when you guys are.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that Tony Hawk game. I might actually turn on the PlayStation after this and see if it's live at midnight.
Seriously.
Midnight East Coast time.
You're funny. We got a notification to our surprise at like 5 o'clock our time that The Boys was already out on yeah, The Boys is freaking already there, already on our time. So
yeah, a listener sent me a message. He's like, dude, are you excited for tomorrow? The Boys? I was like, it's up right now. He goes, what? It says Friday. I'm like, no, go look.
Go check.
My God, they're there.
We already had a time set aside that we're doing it for. Otherwise, we'd probably be up till 3 in the morning watching it after this. All right. Tequila.
Tequila.
Cheers.
Well, that's good. I don't have any lime, unfortunately, but it's good enough tequila. I can do without it.
I'm actually going to save this for the next time I need it.
Excuse
It'll
me.
probably be soon.
I like eating sister.
I just took a little bite off it. I was like, might as well have it for the next one, which is going to be really
Oh,
soon.
Jesus.
Anthony Schiele says, great news. 4K80 is about 45.2% done.
You know what that is?
No, I
It's the
don't.
4K restoration of The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, shit.
It's 4K 77, 4K 83. This is the last one.
Gotcha. Cool.
It's interesting, though, because each fan version of Star Wars is missing something.
Mhm.
Like, because they're all from different sources and stuff, and they're all different teams. So, like, I think this is from the Team 1 Negative or something like that. That's the name of their team. And I think there's an audio or some shit like that. I don't know. And then there's like a DNR, and there's too much. Like, I wish Disney would do
list
okay.
for that
sorry.
super chat.
I was
Well,
just
I'm
trying to-
listening. I just wanted to let you know. I just want to make sure the audience know what I'm skipping out.
Oh, yeah. That goes down a little smoother.
And then anything with even the all the juice and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm glad. I wanted to take a break from the sugar anyway. I like gin better than vodka, so that wasn't hard for me. We're kind of on a related note. This is probably the most valid reason I've ever heard from someone for not liking Star Wars. They worked on the digital transfer. And so they spent like years of their life every single effing day going like minute by minute of the damn thing. Like frame by frame, really.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
And they were like, after that, I was thrilled to have had the opportunity. I was thrilled to have the project. After that, I never wanted to touch Star Wars ever again.
I get it.
And I'm like, all right, that's back. That's fair.
What's a movie that you had, if you had to do the restoration on, wouldn't sour you on? One film. Same for you, Sean. Anybody in the chat want to chime in? You guys too.
I'm going to go with Gladiator because to me it's such a perfect movie. I think I would just get even more appreciation out of it, out of spending. Like it's such a, I mean, if you know Ridley Scott, you know how artistic of it.
We hung out with him last week.
Sure.
Oh, I love Gladiator.
If you're familiar with his work, you know how like artistic his shot composition is.
Oh yeah,
It's a huge thing for him. I don't know if you agree with this, Sean. For me, Ridley Scott, when he gets it right, he makes perfect films. As in, no fat, no mistakes, no holes or errors or this is or that. To me, Gladiator is absolutely one of them.
I would agree. I like to say I have kind of a love-hate relationship with him because here's the thing: when he gets it right, he gets it really right.
So,
but when he gets it wrong, you still can't hate him. And I'll give you an example, like Alien Covenant, for all its flaws, like the scenery that he chose and the direction is really well done, and it actually makes it fun to watch, despite the fact that you're going, oh, come on.
That's what I say about his flops is even his flops were just like one or two bad decisions away from being a great, like one or two different decisions away from being a great film.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you consider that as bad as everyone says? Because I'm not. I don't love it. I don't really like it. It's fine. Like I don't know why everyone hates that movie. It's just okay.
Because it was marketed.
Prometheus.
Because it was marketed as an Alien prequel, and under that lens, it fails epically. It's not an awful movie, but it's trying. That's another one. A couple of decisions, right? It's trying to be its own thing while also trying to be an Alien prequel. He needed to pick one. Are you going to tell another Alien story that's reminiscent of Alien, but take it in a new direction with a different kind of creature and whatnot? Fine. Are you going to tell the Alien origin story? Are you going to actually tell a prequel story here? Fine. But he needed to pick one, and the ambiguity is what made the movie suffer the most.
Do you know what would have been an excellent mashup?
The
movie Life with a Ridley Scott newer Alien film. Because if you can build the kind of tension like that Life did, but you put Ridley Scott on it, who definitely is better, and you have that twist ending, like that movie lives and dies by that last 3 to 4 minutes. Like that makes me like the movie. It's just an okay movie, but you get to the ending, it elevates.
Up until that point, it's an Alien reboot, in my opinion. It's just it's just sort of someone's homage to Alien. And
that's what I've heard. I haven't seen it.
You should give it your time. I really think it's worth it.
Because the thing is, it's a good Alien retelling. You know, it follows the formula that Alien does pretty closely. But, and this is what I think you need to make a successful film, it is a good creature. I think it's a very good creature. It's very different from the xenomorph.
It's more like the symbiote from Spider-Man.
Yeah. But it's a really good creature, and the ending, like Jeff said, there's a twist right at the end, and the way they present and deliver the twist too is what makes it.
That was what makes it online.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't that have been crazy though?
That would
have been the greatest crossover in history. I'm not gonna say it, but that's it.
But,
no, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, Prometheus, both, and Alien Covenant. I feel like both of those movies are kind of an example where Ridley Scott was attempting to do what he does best, but he overdid it. And here's what I mean. Ridley Scott really, when he nails it right, he's a master of the show, don't tell type of storytelling. Yeah. And movies like Blade Runner got it right. I mean, everything you need to know is on screen. You don't have to be told it. There's not a ton of exposition. There's a lot that's just happening and for you to see. And that's why I like to say a lot of his movies get better when you watch them 2, 3, 4 times. But with Alien Covenant and especially with Prometheus, the first time through on Prometheus, I hated it. I went out of the theater. I was like, God, what the hell did I just watch? That made no sense. And it wasn't until I went through it a second time and I was like, oh, I didn't catch that before. That's an interesting bit of foreshadowing. Or, oh, I didn't catch that. That's interesting symbolism. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that where I'm just like, you know, if I had seen that before, that definitely would have colored my impression of the film. And I kind of felt like the more I watched both of them, I'm like, there's so much here that is hidden in plain sight, but it's too much for people to take in on one viewing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like there were things that Prometheus definitely did really right. Like I think the way he did the morally ambiguous robot with Michael Fassbender was the best presentation we've had of that since Ash in the original one.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of Lance Henriksen. He was a good robot.
Because every Alien one has, it's like the alien either ends up being good or bad, or the robot ends up being good or bad. They're always kind of the same. It's always a surprise. It's like it's always the same idea where the alien is looking out for the greater good, and it's a toss-up as to whether that is going to coincide with your protagonist's interest or not. So that
Lance Henriksen was my favorite.
I have a bit of a funny story about seeing Alien Covenant in the theaters.
Yeah.
So, have you seen Alien Covenant?
I have not.
No.
Okay. There's, as you know, in Alien Covenant, you have Michael Fassbender who's playing David the robot, but he's also playing Walter the robot. So there's a lot of scenes where they face each other. And here's what's funny. And
so Michael Fassbender comes back in Alien Covenant to also play the robot. Cool. He was my favorite part of Prometheus, so I'm totally fine with that.
His performance is hands down the best. Actually, his performances, both of them, is the best part of Alien Covenant, in my opinion. And there's a couple of scenes where just his subtle acting is so good, it really carries the film.
Yeah. I've also heard consistently that, like, even though people were totally blindsided by the choice, that Danny McBride was actually the right pick for his role.
Yes. I was blown away by how good he did with that role.
Yeah.
And I really remember thinking, I was like, okay, that blew my mind. I didn't expect to see that. But what was so funny is, okay, so
I've actually heard honestly, I got to say, I've heard mostly good things about Alien Covenant.
Yeah. So there was a moment that made me snicker in the film. And then here's what's funny. I convinced Ashley to go see it because she was just getting into the Aliens franchise, and I now have her hooked. She's a full-fledged Aliens fan.
Good.
And so when we were sitting there, there's a lot of scenes where they're talking and they're really close face. They're robots. They don't have human, concepts about being too close or in personal space. And literally, Ashley leans over to me and goes, "Oh my God, this is the most homoerotic movie I've ever seen. When is Michael Fassbender just going to kiss himself?"
Ah!
And I just went, "Oh, you wait."
X-Men First Class, because that's pretty homoerotic too. That's actually one of the things I like best about the sexual.
Which
tension.
film?
X-Men First Class.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sexual tension between James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender is so good.
If you haven't seen CinemaSins, they did a stinger at the end where they're both in the water and he goes, "I thought I was alone." "You're not alone, Eric. You're not alone." And you just hear Michael Jackson, "You are not alone."
What was so great about that dynamic, which is something you don't see as much anymore, it was funny because I've noticed as we were going back and watching like 90s commercials and stuff. Everything in like the late 90s and early 2000s, everything had homoerotic undertones. Every female friendship, every male friendship had homoerotic undertones. And it was kind of funny, but it worked because it was the kind of thing, to me, that was like the best thing you could have, because if you are, turned off by that, if that's something that bothers you, you didn't see it because you didn't want to look for it. You didn't want it to be there. You just didn't see it at all. But if you were looking for it and you were into that kind of thing and thought that was fun or cool or whatever, it was there. And it was pretty obvious to you. And I was like, that was such a great balance when you had that. And that was something, to me, First Class, it was past that era of doing that, did that really, really well. Whereas
what I thought was, so you got to hear this funny little story. So there's a scene where Michael Fassbender as David is teaching Walter how to play a flute. And so at that point, the character Walter has lost one of his robotic hands. So he's only got his left hand. So he hands him the flute, and I'm not kidding. I literally just, as soon as I heard this line, I was like, phrasing? Ridley, you're a professional. How did you let this get by? Because he hands the flute to Walter, and he goes, here, and I was impressed. He goes, make your embouchure, which that's the correct term for, making the shape of your mouth, about the size of your pinky. And so he does, and then he says, I'll do the fingering.
That's awesome.
And I'm sitting next to my best friend of 25 years, who is Eric is one of those guys, imagine a Viking, but in modern day, because he's just this 6'6", blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy. He's huge. And I'm sitting next to him, and as soon as it happens, I go, like that. And I look over, and he's like, so we're chuckling like we're back in high school. So the funny part about this is I take Ashley to see the film. She makes that comment, and I just said, oh, you wait. And so when that scene happens, I'm wondering how she's going to react. So as soon as he says it, I hear from right next to me, I hear, and I look over, and she's just like red-faced, trying not to laugh. And then right after that, I saw the Honest trailer from who's it, Screen Junkies?
Yeah.
And right when that line comes up, the guy who does the narration goes, and I'm just like, I'm telling you, who didn't see this coming? How did you let this get by you, Ridley?
I fucking love it. Oh my God. Without further ado, our next, I love it. It's like that whole conversation came out of that $2 super chat, even though it wasn't about what that super chat was about.
Yeah.
But
this one's about something better though.
Yeah, Obi-Wan 27883, our good friend, waits all week for this super chat to be relevant. Says, "Is this a drinking stream?" Still Rick Astley for Resident 2020. We got our shots ready.
We're gonna get you up.
You got the tequila ready over there, Sean?
He does.
Yeah.
What's that?
Cheers, bitches.
Cheers.
Cheers to Obi-Wan. Happy belated, dude.
Oh, it was his birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday. It was just my birthday, so.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Obi-Wan's was like.
Thank you.
Wasn't it exactly a week ago?
Mm-hmm.
What date is your birthday?
The 1st.
Oh, September. Shit. Happy birthday, dude.
Thank you. And I just want to share because have you guys ever heard of Aussie Man Reviews? Aussie Man Reviews?
Yeah, I love that guy.
So Ashley got me this as a birthday gift.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
And if you can see, he's falling into a shark. That's the best part of it.
I love it. That's pretty great. I'm all about that. I don't like sharks. Jeff doesn't like sharks. I don't like sharks. And
if you haven't seen it, the ones where he voices over penguins going on a field trip, and I was crying. It was so funny,
dude.
Scamper there.
Not Scamper the Penguin. Oh my God. One in the chat if you know who Scamper the Penguin is.
2 in the chat if you've been duped into watching it.
You love it. Greg Kirby says Daisy is UK's Brie Larson. She is complaining about having no jobs, but has 11 projects and 2 voiceovers. Jeff and I talked about this on Tuesday. Anna and I talked about this yesterday on the Matriarchy. It's pretty sad. Cheers to that. Oh God, that's good. Yep. This is dangerous. I could drink this for thirst reasons.
What I don't get is she's like, I can't get any stuff after Star Wars. I'm like, it's been 8 fucking months. Calm yourself down, okay?
Exactly.
You can say calm your tits on this channel.
Yeah, you can say calm your tits all you want. Now it's been a little. I always point out it's been a little longer because she's probably been looking for new jobs since shooting Wrapped, which was obviously sooner. Even if she had to pick up stuff and whatnot, she was freed up to take on other projects. We talked about the entitlement of it. Like you did one You got so lucky to get picked out of a sea of nobodies to be Rey. And she is clearly getting direct to offer stuff. Anna and I looked at her IMDb, and we clicked on some stuff. It's like the two things she has in pre-production, the only thing attached to those, one of the projects is just her. It's going to be based on a novel, and it's just her, which what that tells you is a studio has bought the rights to make this novelization into a film. They have somebody working on the script because it's announced. If the once announces it, they're actually working on it, and they have Daisy Ridley as their star. This is clearly, someone pitches to the studio, "Hey, let's make this book into a movie." I see Daisy, and they look at it and they go, "Yeah, we see Daisy Ridley as the front man on this one." Call up her agent, she gets a direct offer, and that's happened twice. And there's another one, same deal. I think the screenwriters are attached. There's like a script that's clearly they've owned for a while because it's a original screenplay, and they figure, "Oh, Daisy Ridley, now that she's not being forced to be perfect. She's exactly what we're looking for this part." And so these two fucking movies clearly already were in mind. It's like, this is exactly what you fucking want. You're just mad because maybe this is like fucking, what's that studio? A-something or whatever. A24. It is the independent shit.
Summer and all the other things.
Yeah, it's like, I'm so sorry. I don't know if it had anything to do with your acting, Daisy. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying.
And I feel for her because, the way her character was written, also the way it was set up in The Force Awakens, she should have had so much more to do as an actor. And so she's really, and this is what I said before too, and I stand by this. It's like she has an incredible resume with a dog shit reel. And the reel's the more important
bypass the compressor.
And it's like Star Wars, Disney and all that. Just Midnight, Murder on the Orient Express with Kenneth Branagh. She did that Ophelia movie with
Midnight Edge Express. That's a great movie.
Murder on the Orient Express. I actually saw that one.
It actually was pretty good, and she was pretty good in it. But again, her character didn't have a lot to do. So you put her reel together, and it's just like her making the space a bunch. And it's not necessarily because I'm not willing to say she can't act, but for sure she has not been asked to in her Hollywood career so far.
Yes, really. And you brought up the sword fighting stuff. She hasn't been asked to.
Challenge up there. I think it's hard to say, but based on the footage we saw and the posts she made about it, I believe that she was perfectly willing to work harder for better, for more advanced fights and whatnot. But I mean, everything we've heard from all the reshoots and the rewrites and the this and the that, the shoots for these movies were clusterfucks anyway, and they just basically asked the bare minimum of their actors in that front too. Clearly, Adam Driver is capable of more than what he was asked of.
Exactly,
and it's just stupid anyway.
And so you shall.
Yes.
I love that bit.
That video.
You are
love that bit.
But so fucking good.
and I agree with you. I mean, they gave her and they gave Kelly Marie Tran nothing to do.
Right.
And
exactly. This poor freaking woman, they've politicized her for so much as the poster child of oppression and then fucking wrote her out of the last movie.
Well, and where their values are.
If there's anybody that Daisy Ridley should blame for what's going on with her career if it doesn't go well, I'm going to give two names specifically: Rian Johnson, number one. And Kathleen Kennedy.
Absolutely.
And I'm so thrilled that John Boyega is calling it for what it is, because we all knew it. We all saw it. And I've said for a long time, I said, when I saw The Force Awakens, hands down, my favorite character was Finn. I thought Finn had this interesting backstory that I was dying to get to know. He had this potential because in the first few minutes, we see him come on screen and he does something that is so classically Star Wars. When Poe asks him, "Why are you doing this?" and he goes, "Because it's the right thing to do." I'm like, dude, that is Star Wars in a line. And I was like, why is he not the hero? And if he's not the protagonist, why is he not, pivotal to the story?
Absolutely. That was one of my biggest criticisms about The Force Awakens already. Just between the marketing and the movie, I felt like we already got shortchanged on that character.
Yeah.
I feel like they already set him up to be more than what he was just there. I didn't like that he was this fucking janitor. I didn't like how little time they spent. It's just like, oh, war, it's so horrifying. I'm defecting at the end. I didn't like how little time they spent on his character. I thought that could have been so much more interesting. Yeah, and what I have to say, I really like, and I encourage everyone, irrespective of how you feel about John Boyega, to go and read this interview in its entirety, because one of the things that struck me so much about the way he talked about Star Wars and his experience, it fed so much into what I've talked about a lot lately on my channel and in my life too, is this balance of gratitude with whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you're fighting for, whatever you're trying to change about your life. And even talking about, that was something that, like, in the original, when he got up and talked about, when he got up on the megaphone in the Black Lives Matter rally, the things he said there, again, it seemed to me to have that balance of acknowledging our progress while still fighting the good fight. The way he talked about our lives that we've always been important, they have always mattered, we've always been here, and we're not going anywhere. It had this sort of acknowledgement of his own strength and power as a Black man, while still saying, there are things we're tired of, there's things we want to change. Yeah. And that echoed even more so when he talked about Star Wars and said, of course I was grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful for what it's done for me in my career. And then also really specifically talked about this idea of paying your respects, but then going too far and like having to fight against falling into that trap himself, and then having to come back from that, of like being grateful to a fault, of like, thank you for this opportunity, so I'll let this racism slide. I'll let this marginalization of my character slide. I'll let this, the shit they did for the poster and all the other crap, that normally he'd actually be bothered by, wow, I have this great opportunity. I'm going to let this slide. I'm going to let this slide. I'm going to let this slide. And then you have that moment, kind of almost mirroring the way a lot of people had moments watching these movies of, I'll let this slide. I'll let this slide. I'll let this slide, until you hit whatever your unforgivable transgression is.
The minute that movie started, that was the unforgivable transgression.
And it was just really well articulated, and it was something like, it was cool. It was cool to read that. It was cool. The end.
Until he was dead.
Super chats. Mattaween says, ahoy, thirsty friends. Ahoy, Mattaween.
I've been thirsty for that super chat for a while.
Good to see you here, Mattaween. We love you. You're great. I also have to say, because his channel nickname is the Mandalorian, whenever I see Mattaween, because it's another, Star Wars riff and whatnot, it makes me think of my cousin, so it makes me extra happy. He's my favorite cousin. So.
Oh, can I tell Jeff my my terrible pun?
Of course, man. You're a guest here on the show.
I think he's asking my permission so that I don't kick him out.
Permission.
I got called evil for this one, and I probably deserve it.
All right. Well, not tell him.
Okay, so Jeff,
yes.
What do you call it when you tease a Nazgul into fighting? Wraith baiting.
I understood that reference.
I need to get that. I need to get either like the animation of a hook, or I need to get that like wah 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 sound effect.
You should get I should get the clip from Half Baked, because there's a scene where they're like, "Boo this man!"
Yes,
it's so over the top.
I need to start getting more sound bites that I can throw in here.
I'm gonna talk to Tom about.
I need to get a soundboard. I need to create
the one I want from Half Baked is, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you. I'm out.
Yes, that whole movie, Jesse Simmons.
Oh, you know what I need to get for anytime someone makes a pun? Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
You get the clip though, where they're like, "Go home," or they're like, "We don't care, fat ass."
Fine, go home, and he's like, "I will." I thought you were going home. I am. Give me a minute. Give me a minute, guys. I get it.
I'm afraid I've hit empty. I drank for this one, but let me go get a new beer. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll read and drink for this one too in the meantime. Ian Slater says, cheers with me to the mighty fallen, my one and only nod to CB. I saw BP and realized what it could be. I cried. Me, a 30-year-old man's man trucker. Salute. Cheers.
Thank you, Ian Slater.
Thank you, Ian Slater, for that beautiful tribute from the heart.
We were bummed out. Like, legit. We're not trying to pander for him or the super chat. Like, we sat here on the couch, and should I tell him this whole story? Sure. Jesse's like, so do you want to go bang? I was like, give me a second. Like, I legitimately was like, give me a second. Did I not say that?
Seriously. Because it was like, we're going to go bang, and then we found this out. We're like, holy shit. I was like, do you sell? And he was like, give me a minute. I was like, all right. because we just kind of
because just we're like,
sad, and it
whoa.
was like we were reeling from it. It was weird.
It's weird how I always liked him. Like I never had any issues with him and never said anything bad about like his performance as Black Panther. But like learning more about him and how I like him as a person.
I like him even more.
And it sucks too because like when Roger Moore passed away or Gene Wilder or any of these other celebrities, I was like, okay, or Adam West, because I was like, man, Batman's dead, and James Bond died the day before or the week before. But him, it's like now I want to learn more about the dude based on like what you know his character was. Because before I was like, he's like Robert Downey Jr. He's an actor I'm cool with. I don't really care to know anything else. But I
had a moment when you were reading, when you were talking on your stream earlier, because I hadn't heard that. I didn't realize how Marvel was in the dark about this, and then the thing you read about how he had still planned on making he to the very end said he was going to beat it, and how he still planned. I'm doing it right now. You can see I'm not fucking bullshitting you guys. That fucking killed me because I'm like that's it. I mean that's where it is. I mean it hits me close to home right now because I actually have a family member battling with cancer right now and having a really rough time with it, and so that attitude was like it was really important. It was really encouraging to hear, and yeah, I mean, I love that. I love that optimism.
Yeah, until the end. Yeah,
and yeah, and
you don't get that with a lot of people today, especially in this 2020 very cynical landscape. I think that's why a lot of people in our sphere keep talking about it that way because it's like it's a very sad event. But there's like you learn about what positivity somebody had in this climate when everyone's out there being an asshole to everybody else, fucking shit up, lying, ruining people's lives and crap over the internet. And then you're like, no, there was somebody out there that shows you like maybe society won't talk.
Exactly.
Like there was good moment or good element of society. And too, and everyone talks about like in Hollywood how there's all kinds of rumors going around about stings and all this other shit. It's nice to know that some actors are full of themselves. Everything that people say about Brie Larson is a real thing.
Oh God, yeah.
And she proves it each and every week with a fake ass YouTube.
And the humility.
But there are people like Chadwick Boseman who are just as big a star, who have more impact on a specific group of people. And he was just a good dude till the end. Nothing but respect. Like that's why we made videos. No monetization, no intention of anything. Just wanted to say our take. Yours was more about be aware of the dangers of colon cancer and be proactive about stuff. And mine was, hey, don't try to make a buck off this dude after he's dead. It's messed up. So I mean, I think everybody feels it in a different way, but it's such a bizarre feeling to get something positive come out of something so sad.
Yeah. I want to read this from Juana. He says, I feel your sentiments, Jessica. My mom was battling breast cancer since 2015, and I'm thankful to have her today and sharing that she's getting her checkup and screenings. A+1 on your.
I'll drink to that.
Absolutely. Cheers to your mom. Cheers to your mom.
He understands what you mean.
Cheers to your titties. But that's such a huge thing too. If you know, I mean, and this goes for any of the women in your life, once they're getting up over 50 and stuff like that, encourage them to get breast cancer screenings. Anybody in your life, if you know they have a history of cancer in their family, especially colon cancer, encourage them to get screened starting at 45 or before, not 50 and up, because it affects tons of people. It's one of those types of, there are certain cancers that if you don't do certain risks, if you're don't do certain things that put you at risk, you're not likely to get it. Colon cancer is not one of those. You can eat a high fiber diet, take great care of yourself, exercise all you want, and still get it. So this shit's serious. Take it seriously. It is the worst feeling in the world to stand by powerlessly while a loved one goes through something like this.
That's what took my grandma out.
And
her 5th battle with cancer.
And the thing is, that's one of the things with colon cancer. If you catch it in its early stage, if you catch it at stage 1 or precancer, you catch precancerous polyps, it is very preventable. Just a lot of it is the lack of awareness of it and the lack of regular screenings for it that lead people to not catch it, like Chadwick Boseman, until it's in its 3rd or 4th stage, at which point the fatality rate goes up enormously.
Yeah, and I kind of agreed with what you said, and I'm just going to be blunt about it, guys. Get over it. Once you turn 40, you got to get prostate exams. That finger's going up your butt. Just deal with it.
Deal with it.
It's life.
If that skeeves you out, think about us women who have been getting fingered by other women since we hit puberty. So there you go.
Somebody clip that. Clip it every time Jesse does something. Imagine getting fingered by another woman.
I gotta say, I have, I know a lot of people are like male gynecologists. Ew, who would be on that? Ew, that's so gross. I gotta say though, my general practitioner is licensed to do. I guess I don't know what you have to do it, but he's licensed to do a basic
Pelvic exam.
Yeah, and it was the first time in my life I had a man do my annual, lady checkup, and it was a lot less weird. It was a lot. The worst experience I ever had was the first time I saw a gynecologist out here. She was a woman. She walks. I fucking get.
In the strip.
I show up at the office. The nurse, takes your temperature, does all this stuff and whatnot. She fucking walked in. I don't even think she introduced herself. She just shoves her hands up in my hoo-ha, pokes around a little bit, sticks the speculum in, gets the pap smear, all that shit, and pieces out. And I was like, I have never felt more violated. It was so clinical and impersonal. And I was like, having a dude do it just felt more normal. Like, I'm used to having a guy put his fingers up my hoo-ha. I'm not used to having a woman do it. So, it was,
I will say that I found it, in some conversations with ladies who were sometimes offering that information and sometimes when I didn't ask, just being honest, I find it interesting. I find a lot of women who prefer to have a female gynecologist, which I totally get. It's like, my equipment's different. I have no idea what's going on with being a lady. But I have met a few women who are like, I find men aren't as rough with me.
I'd rather get fingered by a dude. I'm going to straight up say it. That's also another thing, too, is like before this one, the woman I had before was always very good about, this is what I'm going to do. Because you get not to get super graphic on what it's like to be a woman getting an exam. Before I get into these delightful stories about getting finger banged by clinicians, we'll read Shadows Radio Blues super chat. I was waiting for you to get back, Sean, because it's for you. Here's $5 to drink that joke off. Clearly, we need it. I'm definitely starting to feel it a little bit. Just poured some G&T down my top, so that's fun.
G&T.
Jeff, help her out with that.
Gin and titties. If you want to see me pour more G&T down my shirt, just send more super chats.
Oops.
Whoopsie. Best as I prefer male gynecologist too. And that's the thing. So usually, and I know I'm guys who have had a prostate exam or any kind of exam down yonder, feel up for testicular cancer or what have you, probably do the same thing.
Turn your head and cough.
Most physicians are very, they give you a lot of warning before they're going to touch your sensitive parts, they're going to talk you through it and all that stuff. And I definitely, I had that one woman who did not do that. She was just very clinical about it. Boom. Like, I think Greg Kirby said, "Wait a minute, thank you, man." It's exactly what it was. And so having a guy there, they're definitely going to be overly cautious of this is exactly what I'm doing at this time. And, done.
Yeah.
You're eased into it a little bit more.
I will say one of the more interesting tests I had recently was the COVID test. Because
brain swab?
Yeah. And that was the thing that I was thinking is I know they're supposed to like get a good ways up your nose. I swear to God, he got, like the back of my throat. He like got like that whole damn thing. And I'm just like, God, dude, no, that's where my tonsils used to be. Don't go that far.
My tonsils still are there. So they would definitely prevent you from getting back there. We did this once. We did my party trick where you can actually see my tonsils.
Oh, cool.
Do it again right now because it's a super fun party trick. It's, those are my regular tonsils. That's what they regularly look like.
See, I had mine out when I was 9. So when I once got accused by a friend's mother saying, yeah, like you guys weren't playing tonsil hockey while I wasn't looking, I said, well, I don't have tonsils, so definitely not.
Yeah. I don't have goalkeepers anymore. She just scored. Yeah.
Is it almost time?
For what?
What's the title of the stream?
Oh, right. We did. I mean, it's not time to drink. So it's time to drink.
Well,
you think of the thumbnail.
Yeah, the thumbnails.
I hear you. So I couldn't resist You guys, I assume, saw the thumbnail because it's been there. Also, press the like button
I wonder if anyone could watch this stream and not have seen the thumbnail.
because we
I
only.
made the first comment on the chat earlier tonight. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't catch it. No, what was the comment?
First.
So
I would
passionate.
throw this lime peel at you if you were in the room right now.
You're the worst, guys. Send more super chats so I can get drunker and forget why I'm friends. Forget all the reasons I shouldn't be friends with Sean, so that I continue to be friends with
I will
Sean.
say this. Keep sending them because if Jesse gets drunk enough, we'll order McDonald's. And she watched a movie because they ate McDonald's.
No, that's not why I
yesterday.
watched it. That's not why.
I know. I'm just giving you
It's not
shit.
why-
Come
it's
on,
so-
it makes for good radio.
It's a great movie. I won't tell anyone how much you liked it.
So, by the way, Sarah's been catching up on. I'm sorry, wrong person. Ashley's been catching up on her backlog of movies she should have seen by now.
Mhm.
She has now watched Point Break.
Yes. What did you think? Did she love it? She did.
She liked it, but she liked Roadhouse more.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a sexy.
see it.
That's like a little sexier. Well, I don't know. Swayze as a surfer, it's really hard to top.
Yeah, but you got to remember in Roadhouse, he goes full backside.
That's true. Oh, I mean,
Roadhouse.
yeah, he is. He is pretty sexy in Roadhouse. It's hard to top him as a surfer, but I think he is because he's more the focal point. I think he's a little sexier in Roadhouse, but Point Break
has Keanu
has
Reeves.
Keanu Reeves too. So.
Yeah.
He was an FBI agent.
Roadhouse
And
is a good movie.
and then she's finally watched Karate Kid 1 and 2, and she's about halfway through 3.
Cool.
And we both agreed that in 3, the main villain, Silver, I forget what his first name is. Terry Silver is like the quintessential, like cliche 80s villain. The long ponytail, the earring, the phone. He's making money by dumping toxic waste. You know, he's got a huge home and he's sitting there and it's like, well, what are you going to do about your indictment? I'll bribe the jury. Mr. Silver, hey, just call the DA. You know, smoking a cigar in the bathtub, talking to his assistant. I mean, everything about it is so cliche. Even the laughter, you know, I mean, everything. It's
That's incredible.
My favorite was always the second one because I love the fact that it took place in Japan. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. Oh, I will find out one
The
day.
thing I like about part 2 so much, real quick, is the fact that it picks up the second after the first one. I love when movies like Halloween 2, you'll notice they actually recap the end of the first one, and then it shows like all the dead people going to the stretchers and shit like that. So I love continuations that right after
Dead people?
dead people on the stretchers.
This movie has dead people?
Yeah, you watched them die in the first one. Linda, Bob, Annie.
So many dead people. Bobby James says, ask and you shall receive. Jesse, well, Sean, nice guitars. Agreed.
Thank you.
So this is a half a drink or a non-premium shot. So we can do a shot of gin. Actually, I did bring the vodka out of here if you want to do a vodka shot.
Well, I'm gonna let you choose, Jesse. I'm just here for the ride.
I don't usually shoot gin.
Then don't shoot Jim. Shoot tequila again.
Well, we can't because it's not a premium.
All right.
Let's see.
I know it's technically premium, but I'm shooting my tequila anyway. It's good.
This gin's pretty shootable, I think. Probably, right?
I hope.
Let's find out.
Well, we've been drinking it and other stuff. So.
We have it. I mean, it's been.
Well,
That's
why
why
I
I
always
know, like-
pregame during my show.
I used to not like. Well, I used to have a problem with gin. It's not my fault. I would cry. I would sob or puke or both if I ever drank gin. And then, so it sort of like the flavor by itself was kind of a turnoff. Now I like. I mean, I drink gin martini, so obviously I like the flavor enough now. But I've discovered though when I was first, repairing my relationship with gin, I was like gin alone, I couldn't stand the flavor of. Tonic water alone, I can't stand the flavor of. Quinine just tastes like ass. But the two of those things together, and then the key thing to marry it is a little bit of lime juice. For some reason, it's like, negative and negative make a positive sometime.
Yep.
2 wrongs do make a right.
Yeah, but we'll find out how I feel about gin shots right now.
All right.
So cheers to Bobby James. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for getting us drunker because we need it.
Agreed.
Fuck one,
I will say for me, with vodka is where I like lime And with gin, I like lemon. Like when I have gin martinis, I do them pretty dry. I literally, the way I do it is I put the vermouth in and I shake it on the rocks and then I'll drain it out. So it's just got the coated rocks, put my gin in, shake that up, pour it in, and then I do a thin slice of lemon peel, which is technically the traditional way to do it before they went to olives.
True that. I personally really like dirty gin martinis. I think that olive juice, just the saltiness just pairs well because it's such a sweet alcohol.
Yeah.
I love the way the saltiness, the olive juice blends with it. And the pinch of
007 that you drink those.
Okay, that's of course. But I'm drinking gin martinis, fuck vodka martinis. Because that's one of the things is like when you drink a gin martini, that's what makes vermouth make sense. I mean, most people who drink vodka martinis drink them dry or super dry. They're just alcoholics with an excuse to drink that. And gin martini drinkers tend to be less precious about the dryness. Now, if you're drinking really hot stuff, gin, a lot of people do. Like, if someone, this is what we were taught as a bartender, if someone orders extra dry, you do it one of two. A dry, actually, a lot of people will do it the way that Sean does it. What you said, where you pour it in over the ice into the mixer, shake it around so the ice gets coated with it, and you dump it out. So it's just really the traces of it that are left. Now, what the extra dry people will do is they'll just do a vermouth rinse. So they'll just pour, a little bit in the glass itself, swirl it, and dump it. You have even less residue. And then the real hardcore people, the joke is you take the vermouth and you just wave the bottle over the glass.
Yep. That's what's his name? Winston Churchill said the best way to enjoy a martini was to pour gin in a glass and then literally pass the shadow of the bottle of vermouth over it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And for me, that's just too dry because that's gin on the rocks. That's all it is.
That's what it is. But the whole thing is when you drink it with gin, when you put that little bit of vermouth with gin, you find once again, vermouth, like tonic water, has a very bitter flavor on its own. That blended with the base sweetness of the juniper berry, based alcohol, it mellows it out. Actually, it marries. Those flavors marry very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Canadian Spider-Man says too pretentious. I missed the super chat. I did. I missed Dixon Spiders. I said, give me some of that thick Dion coffee. Thanks, Dixon Cider. The best place for Dix. People call you Dix for short because we're calling you Dix, man.
I don't know if you guys saw when we were doing on Jeff's stream when we were doing the coffee, replace that.
Yeah.
Ashley and I were coming up with a bunch of them. Like she had I don't like coffee grounds. They're coarse and they're rough and they get everywhere.
She would have won if we had a competition for the best one.
Oh my
That's
God,
perfect.
that would have been great.
That's my trick with Cards Against Humanity. If you ever play against me, if you can fit something in the context, then you win.
She so the one I came up with, and it's not technically using the word coffee, but I said you don't know the power of the dark roast.
I'd allow that one too.
I still like mine.
And because I have a dirty mind, I also came up with you came in that coffee? You're braver than I thought.
Who comes in coffee, man? What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, you didn't read that story about the Home Depot employee who came in his female employee's coffee?
Ew!
I'm dead serious. This was a thing. It was disgusting.
That guy's gross.
He jerked off in her coffee, and she found out because one day she watched him and he had he was jerking it in front of her coffee, and then he's like, oh, sorry, blah, 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 and he ran off, and it's like,
ew. That
yeah.
guy's a dick.
This is one of those. Yeah, I remember reading it on my phone, and I'm like, wow.
There are.
What?
And then there is next level. That's not even funny.
I'm sorry. That's sexual assault.
I agree. Oh, he got charged. The cops came and took him away in handcuffs.
Good.
So, and they should. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
By the way, are you guys subscribed to Doomcock's Cyber Army or whatever on Facebook?
No.
There was one where there was some fitness person in England. Agreed. But I mean, this is one of those moments where I'm kind of with Jeff. It's look, whatever two people decide they want to do in a bedroom alone, that's their business. I pass no judgments. It's none of my business. But this female trainer was convinced that semen
Story. Yep.
had protein and positive health benefits.
I mean, it is pretty much all protein.
But so what she was doing is she had a friend who was donating, and every morning she would make smoothies with it.
I heard the story. Yep.
It's disgusting. And then she would use it like on her face like a face cream. And I was just like,
it's apparently very good for your skin. Also, apparently, so is that was. Remember when that was a thing when taking like horse piss pills was like a
no.
You never
never
heard of
in
that?
my lifetime was taking a horse piss pill.
You never heard of there was something about like
oh, that's disgusting. And so,
Than taking
but I remember my exact comment when I saw that was, "What fresh hell is this?"
health benefits of horse.
I was just like I was like reading this and I'm like,
Yeah, this is a thing.
Ron Jeremy just threw up in his mouth, you know?
This was a
If
fucking
2020 was
thing.
a person.
Yeah, no shit, Jeff.
Women
a great way to
who
put it.
follow horse urine for health. This is a fucking thing.
It says vegan.
Well, that's on the vegan website. It's probably a lampoon, but you know. 'cause, like,
Wait. They won't eat meat. They won't drink milk. They won't eat cheese, but they'll drink the piss of an animal.
People are fucking stupid, and this is why nature's going to weed them out quickly.
If you go on YouTube, there's a guy named Rob Gavigan, and he has a show he does every once in a while called "Why Would You Put That on the Internet?" And there is shit.
It used to be Rob Dyke, right? He's the guy with the goatee.
That's correct. Now he changed his last name because the YouTube algorithm was actually flagging his last name as a slur.
You guys are
I
ready?
used to subscribe
You
all the
guys ready
time.
for
I haven't
this?
heard from him in years.
The estrogen replacement drug Premarin prescribed to menopausal women is made from horse urine. In fact, the drug's name is short for pre-pregnant mare's urine. There's the end. About 750,000 mares are impregnated each year for the sole purpose of collecting their estrogen-rich urine. And this is why we have problems with overpopulation of the horses in our country, which is an issue that I feel very strongly about because I love horses. And that's why fuck Obama. That's straight up. Seriously,
it's been 4 years since he left. Fuck him.
Seriously, this was a big thing for me. Candidates run on a lot of platforms, most of which they don't follow through on. And it was a very specific thing that came up during his first presidency or his first campaign was the animal community. One of the big issues for them at the time was, what are you going to do about the wild horse population issue? There's overpopulation issues with the wild horses and issues with what to do with them because a lot of farmers who rely on government land are frustrated having to compete for resources from the wild horse herds. But at the same time, wild horses or wild animals are part of our American heritage, etc. There's something that a lot of people have interest in preserving, and I think they have the right to their land. They have the right to be there. They were there first. I don't like it when humans come in and displace animals without a plan or something. And so that was one of the things Obama said. That's one of the things he would tackle in his presidency is he would address these concerns, and he did. He addressed them at a summit regarding the wild horse population that happened in Nevada during his presidency. I want to say 2010, if I'm not mistaken. And the way he addressed it was to reallow horse slaughter in the U.S. Reallow the slaughter of horses. Now, if you know anything about this, the reallowing the slaughter of horses domestically, frequently for either use in pet food or for exportation to nations that utilize this. The majority of horses that end up in these slaughterhouses are not horses that should go there. I don't think any horse should go there. But the idea is that you set something up like this, and people who don't have the resources to care for their animals will just sell their horses at auctions to slaughterhouses, make a buck, and that way the horse won't be abused, it won't be left out to starve, it won't be neglected. It'll just go, the person will make a buck off of it, and it'll be a quick, easy death, right? That's not the reality. The reality is the horses that go to slaughter are very, very frequently, relocated wild horses that they cannot rehome, which are perfectly good animals, perfectly healthy well taken care of animals, that by all rights and purposes should just be rehomed. But because it's easier to kill them, great. Those are the horses that go. The other big market for horse slaughter are off the track thoroughbreds. These are animals with incredible pedigrees, with beautiful breeding, who can do so many things. But if they're 0.5 seconds short of the speeds they need to be racehorses, they are completely valueless to their owners. And their owners don't give a shit about finding them good homes.
No.
They just give a shit about offloading these animals that are just taking up space in their barns. Those are the animals that get slaughtered. And the assholes who want to neglect their horses, they still neglect them. They still leave them tied up in sheds with an iota of the space that they need to live. They still suffer. They still starve. You didn't address the fucking problem. All you did was appease a certain one demographic while still setting these animals up for lives of suffering and death and shit like that. And I'm breaking people. We're not supposed to talk about controversial things on the show. It just pissed me off because I was like, these are beautiful, majestic animals that should be loved and respected.
Well, and it's always just the easiest solution. And it's a frustrating thing because even though I'm not a horse owner, I've never really dealt with them, I still respect the animal. And ironically, the people who talk about not disrupting a population and being careful about, you'd be shocked on this, Jess, but a lot of people, when you talk about the preservation of a species and making sure that something is not allowed to disappear, a big group for that is hunters.
I'm not surprised at all. The entire reason we have national parks in this country is because of the conservation efforts of Teddy Roosevelt, who created the national parks for that very reason. He was an avid hunter, and he understood the balance in the ecosystem. And
right.
To go out and hunt these animals to make sure that their species are allowed to flourish, so that we're not overhunting them, we're not killing them off, we're not doing a detriment to their population. No, hunters understand. I mean, these are people who go out and will, in the wee hours of the morning, will sit for hours and hours and hours and hours in the place where they're most likely to see an animal to hunt it. There are people who very frequently understand the natural world, the natural ecosystem.
Right.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah.
Well, and the thing that I will tell you, and a lot of people don't seem to understand this, the two threads that I read on forums about hunters that I thought was really fascinating was one where there was a discussion that said, guess we can't hunt caribou anymore. And I opened up the thread and it was saying that this one area in Alaska, I think it was Alaska, the caribou population had become a little bit thin. And there was some concern for the continuation of the caribou in that area. And it wasn't all these people railing against the National Park Services. They were like, well, that's a shame. But you know what? That's fine. There's other places we can hunt caribou and there's other animals we can hunt. It's important the species comes back, so we'll just leave them there. And someone even said, the same thing happened in this one area in Canada about 20 years ago. And they're just about to open up hunting on the caribou there again because the species has returned. And there's very much this idea of, oh, well, if the species is in danger of disappearing, we need to make sure that we don't hunt them. We need to make sure that they return and they thrive. So very much concerned with the continuation of the species. They definitely don't want to disrupt that. Because like you said, they understand it's like this is an ecosystem. You go in and you harvest an animal, but you don't harvest more than the land is providing. And if things are thin one year, then, hey, we're just going to have to suck it up and hunt somewhere else. Yeah. And if we can't hunt it all in this area that year, then that's okay. That means the species will come back and they'll be okay. And the ecosystem won't be disrupted. So they're very good about that. Yeah. One thing I want to praise you for, if I may, I really wish more people in this, and I don't want to get too political, but I'm gonna actually share a good story, a positive story, because I really don't think that people are ever willing anymore to give their political rivals or the political candidates they don't support any credit ever, no matter what they do. And this is something I was talking about with someone recently about our current president, that I was like, well, they're going to condemn him if he does this. They're going to condemn him if he doesn't do it. This is stupid. It's not about his actions. You just hate the guy. Mm-hmm. And I get made a point. I was not an Obama fan. I've never made a secret about that. Mm-hmm. But as a member of the Second Amendment community, there was something I can praise him for. There's something called the NFA. That's what we refer to it as. It's the National Firearms Act of 1932. In this is when silencers, when short-barreled rifles and shotguns, when fully automatic weapons became restricted items that you had to go through a ton of red tape to get. And there was a loophole that was there that even, I'll put it this way, even for people who are pro 2A, a lot of us were like, that's not a good loophole. And that was that people would go through this very extensive background check to say buy a suppressor. But because of whatever happened in their past, they couldn't pass it. So they'd open a trust, and then the trust would pass, and then the trust would own the suppressor, but they were the trustee. So how is that not basically skirting the law?
Yeah.
Well, here's the interesting thing that Obama did. Obama wanted to close that loophole. But, as I know from what I've talked to you about, we're very hesitant to do any changes to the gun laws because it's always a give and it's always a take and no give. Well, this was different. This time he said, I'll tell you what, we want to make this change. And in return, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the CLEO requirement. Now, the CLEO stands for CLEO, and it stands for Chief Law Enforcement Officer. What that means is you'd go through this background check, right? And it would take literally anywhere from 6 to 12 months. And once you were clear, now at this point, keep in mind, I've gone to the store, I bought my suppressor or my fully automatic weapon or my short barrel rifle. I've already paid for it. And I paid my $200 tax stamp to the government, and they haven't background checked me, and I'm waiting. Now that they have done that, they go through the process, they send me my tax stamp, but it goes also to the chief law enforcement officer in the area who has to approve it. And, how long are they going to take? And if they're busy, they've got a pile of papers. So that takes even longer. And though it's rare, if you live in a certain part of the country where you have a chief law enforcement officer who's like, man, no civilian should have this stuff, he just declines it.
Yeah, that's stupid.
So what Obama did is, look, we're going to make it so that if you have a trust, the trustees have to pass the background requirement. And in return, the CLEO requirement is going to be done away with.
Cool.
And he passed that. So this was something I'll praise him for. He made it harder for people to skirt the law and get through a loophole and break the law and get weapons they really shouldn't have. And he made it easier for people who could pass those background checks and were law-abiding citizens to get the weapons that they honestly were okay to have.
That's cool.
It is a great thing. And it's like, I guess that's kind of one of the things that bugs me. It's like, dude, I can sit here and look at Obama and give him praise for the things he did right, despite my personal opinions about his politics. I think we need to be more, it's got to, this constant, I hate this guy has got to stop.
Absolutism isn't helpful on either side, in either
No.
way. Like I made a tweet not long ago, and I wish more people had seen it. The people who did actually, there's a lot of great responses. But I said, pick somebody you hate and write one thing you like about them. Because I think that's something that's like, we forget. What?
Ryan Johnson. What's one thing you like? He didn't direct another Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I was about to say, he only directed one Star Wars film.
Yeah. I didn't even give you your point. I just couldn't help it.
No, but I think it's I think Sean makes a great point there, is that it is very, very rare that there's a person who is 100% anathema to you. You can't say anything they do or say or whatnot. You can't find one good thing to say. And I think finding that one good thing, even if you're not going to change your opinion on the person overall, you just hate them in the long run and whatnot, it humanizes them in a way that's really important. Because it's okay to dislike somebody. It's okay to dislike their policies or their opinions or their platforms or their behaviors. But it is not okay to hate them so much that you stop seeing them as human, that you stop seeing them as deserving of the same rights and privileges that every human being should enjoy.
Right. Well, and it's kind of like when I'm trying to think of who it was. It was Barbara Bush. When she passed away, there was some professor at some college, I think in San Francisco, who immediately went on the attack after she passed away. And I was like, I'm going to be blunt in saying that, and I'm just bringing up a political figure, not a Hillary Clinton fan here. If tomorrow she has a heart attack and drops dead, I'm not saying anything for the next 30 days. And it's because she has family, she has friends, she's still a human being. She has people who respected her and supported her. I'm going to give them their time to mourn. I have the rest of my life to say negative things.
Sure.
But I'd like to show some respect for someone who's just passed away and for the people who cared about them.
Absolutely. It's a great sentiment. I just want to pose it here real quick. I know we're getting an echo, a bad echo. We are.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah, I think
Hang on.
I know. Thank you.
No, it's cool.
We weren't having a problem off screen, and now all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, I guess clearly it is. I know, right? Now I just want to ride that high.
That better?
Yes, perfect. Thank
You know
you.
the two things I want are more shots and tacos. Because somebody, I think it was Beat James Figures, like, talking about tacos. I'm like, God damn it, taco sandwiches, crunchy shell tacos.
Ooh.
Bobby James, I know Dixon Cider, I know Bobby James already hooked you up. For anyone who missed it, this is their PO box number. And if you ever do forget, that goes for anyone looking or wanting. It is posted under the About section on the Mindless Entertainment YouTube page. So if you ever do forget or lose the PO box, you can always just go to the YouTube channel, go to the About section. It's posted right there.
And you can ask me on any of my streams because we share a PO box and I have the little banner too.
Mhm.
So
that's right. So you know he's asked Jeff too. But we do have some super chats that rolled in. We're having our very serious.
Yes, more booze.
All right, no more serious stuff. This got way too serious.
Oh yeah, totally. Sorry about that.
No, it's my fault. Stratus Radio Blue says, which villain best represented their corresponding decade? Silver from Karate Kid 3 or Eugene from Hackers? I'm actually going to pee because I haven't seen either of these films, so I have nothing to offer on the subject. So I'm going to go break the seal.
I haven't seen Hackers, so I can't say. I only know Karate Kid 3.
the thing is, I have seen Hackers, but I saw it like 12 years ago, and it wasn't that memorable. It was fun. I liked Angelina Jolie, but here's the thing. Hackers isn't even representative of the decade that it actually was made in because computer technology was never like that in the 90s. It's not even like that today. Hold on, let me break into the mainframe. Let me hack into this. Let me reroute it through Friendster. It was always one of those like, hey, this is how computers work. No, that's not how computers work. I remember 1995. I think that's when Hackers came out. We had a Windows computer and DOS and all that shit. It was not that glamorous. So I'm going to go Terry Silver because, yeah, there are videos of a lot of yuppies that are, you know, making bank off the stock market, living that kind of lifestyle. So there you go.
No, totally. And I will say that Silver, though, was definitely, oh my God, that was the quintessential 80s villain. You know, he's rich. He's got the slicked back black hair and, you know, he's got that smile and swagger and, oh man.
You know who he looks like to me is Todd from A Christmas Story, or sorry, Christmas Vacation. Remember the neighbor?
No, I don't. Oh man, it's been a long time.
Next time you look at it, just think of Terry Silver when you're looking at the next door neighbor from Christmas Vacation, because Todd and Margot's played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but he has the same slicked back hair, kind of the same facial features, not the same actor, but they just remind me of like that same type. And they also play like yuppie douches. So
don't totally understood on that. Have you I was trying to think. Have you seen you guys talked about this on one of your streams, Monster Squad?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Oh my God, I watched that a dozen times when I was a kid, and like when I heard you guys talk about it, I was like, really? Somebody else knows about it? That's awesome.
I need to thank my buddy Joel for my interest in Monster Squad, because he and I used to get together on Wednesdays, go to the comic book store, go get Chipotle, and then he usually would run to Best Buy because it was next door to Chipotle, and we would watch movies and shit. But one day he's like, I'm buying Monster Squad on Blu-ray. I had never seen it. I was instantly hooked. I probably watched it a dozen times over the last 8 years or so.
That's when you've told me is like just a Goonies.
It's a very poor Goonies
I don't know if you guys saw my when you just kicked on tonight, or while we were waiting for you to kick on, I posted in the chat. I was like, "Hey, you guys,
Captain Chunk."
So did you have an opinion?
Break. Oh.
Let's drink more.
Yep.
Yes.
Adam Wofford says the weird part she didn't notice beforehand. What are we? Adam Wofford, sorry, I didn't note when this came in. What we were talking about. Oh yeah, I was wondering that too. I was like, how did she not notice there was jizz in her coffee before? Like, was it just bitter coffee? Like, did she just think it was cream or something? I don't know.
She actually said there was a weird taste to her coffee, but she couldn't place it.
It was jizz.
Now, I'm just going to say, I'm not saying that she would have necessarily put a 1 and 1 together on that, but I certainly know that if I tasted my coffee and it tasted off Down it goes.
Let me.
I'm not drinking it.
As somebody, as probably the only person with the experience to speak on this in this group, not all jizz is created equal, and not all jizz tastes the same. So it could be the thing. I mean, it could have had a milder, particular enough flavor that she just assumed it was the coffee or maybe the water at work or something like that, you know? So it's not out of the realm of possibility, especially if it was like, you know, work coffee might have been bitter, you know, might have been the best quality if it's just she's making it, you know, for her machine at work or something like that. And puts a lot of cream in it anyway, so it doesn't notice the color change and whatnot. It's possible.
I'm gonna go vomit in a minute. This is gross.
All right, well, Greg Kirby says these stories need to be a scene. Cheers. I'll give you that. I feel like that's another maybe even slightly less gross version of Austin. That coffee or Austin.
Oh, this coffee. It is
this
shit.
coffee is like shit. Austin, it is shit.
You have to see the movie Van Wilder because one of the pranks Ryan Reynolds pulls on the guys is he jerks off a bulldog at the employers and then he sends them over and they eat them.
Oh!
And you know what the great part is? It's a sequel to Animal House. You find out that he's the son of Otter.
Oh, Jackbox is fun. I've done Jackbox TV quite a bit, and actually there's some pretty fun stuff on that.
Absolutely. So Andrew Clark says, I love my baby girlfriend. Woo! I hope her night is wonderful. So do I. Have you guys looked into Jackbox TV? They have party games the audience can participate in. Funnily enough, we actually were just looking at it because it was available on something.
On the Switch on sale.
It's on the Switch, yeah. So, I don't know if whoever does the Mecha Random used to do Jackbox streams. They were so much fun. I've done those at parties before too. It's definitely something I would definitely wouldn't mind getting the audience involved.
We had fun on New Year's Eve.
We did. We had a blast. So,
I just got to point out, Mage Grey Wolf said the Wolfman got nards. That is a direct response, of course, to Monster Squad. Yes.
Bobby,
kick him in the nards. Does he have nards? Yeah.
Dude, real quick before we switch topic, when they put the stick of dynamite in the Wolfman's pants and kick him out the window and he explodes instantly, like normally in a scene it's like edited and paced a certain way. It's like boom, boom, and it just happens. You're like, what the fuck did I just watch? And you watch the guy explode and then he grows back because you can't kill him unless it's a silver bullet.
No,
so they literally blow him apart and he reconstitutes himself.
You know what that reminds me of? Have you guys seen the Boondock Saints?
Yeah, of course. The cat.
Yeah, the cat. And the best part is, one of my friends, when we were watching it the first time, she goes, wait, rewind it. I think the cat meows. And it does. If you go back and listen, it is done. Bang! And everybody's like, oh!
That's my favorite part of the whole movie. I like the movie, okay.
I love that movie a lot. That's my least favorite part.
Sweet Pea clearly
it's funny. I still laugh. I got to get handed to Boondock Saints. It is very rare that you can kill an animal and I will still laugh. That is one
no, that is one of them. But you laughed when the horse died in Animal House.
I did.
When they went to cut the horse, somebody laughed. She's like, ah! We had so much fun.
I just laughed because it died of a heart attack instead. That was fucking hysterical. Bobby James, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey Jeff, maybe I missed it on another stream. When was the follow-up to Stealing Solo? To be honest, I'd be hooked at the end wanting more.
Yes. I'm glad I'm getting all this feedback and stuff. So Bobby, you should be getting your new copy soon because we've been mailing them out, depending on what tier you did back it. So people are getting them, just as a reminder to everybody. I did promise that. I made good on it. But there is a sequel. There first is a second printing with something really amazing on the cover. Can't tell anybody what it is yet, but it's fucking cool. Jesse knows what it is.
I do.
A couple other people know what it is because whatever. Long story short, there is a sequel. I'm with the second Indiegogo, if it reaches a certain tier, like one of the stretch goals would be like the sequel next year, because the story is already created.
I was helping with some fun
We talked about some of the additions to it, but the sequel idea came to me during a brainstorming session last year, and it's grown, and as of this week, it's gotten actually better. And put it like this, I wanted to reach a stretch goal, obviously, because it's awesome. But I really wanted to reach the stretch goal because I would like to draw and make that comic before Woke Busters, because the joke and the shit that we were talking about is it's good, really on point with what our fandom menace community is involved in. I guarantee everyone will like it. So,
I agree.
It's cool that you liked the twist. I'm glad you liked the ending. So
I love the ending of Stealing Solo. That is fantastic. As a matter of fact, some friends of mine who came up recently. Actually, if you remember the drunk stream where my friend came on and was posting on his wife's account.
Yeah.
they had come up not too long ago to here in Phoenix because they're in Tucson. And I said, you got to read Stealing Solo. And they said, can we borrow it? I was like, hell yeah, you can borrow it. So they're reading Stealing Solo as we speak.
Awesome. Good shit. Well, they'll have to invest in their own copy when the next printing.
I still cannot get over Kendo in the green outfit with the 2 tennis balls.
I love that. It's so great.
Every time I look at that, I just start laughing.
Bobby James is freaking eager. Is not up on Indiegogo yet.
It'll be up on Indiegogo probably in October.
The second printing.
Yeah, the second
I'm
printing,
in.
new cover, and then how it'll work is there are really cool tiers. Like there's a trading card tier of shit you want but you don't know what it is yet, but Jesse knows. So yeah, it'll be out because I want to. Oh, and one other thing too, because we've now learned about the production time. If we do the 2 month in October, and it takes about a month to get, could probably get it out right at the beginning of the new year.
Yeah, by the I'm gonna have everything fulfilled before.
Well, if the new cover was done now, Christmas, it'd be a Christmas book.
Absolutely.
But because it's going to take a little time,
it'll be there
right at the beginning of the year. But we got this shit worked out. We actually know
it down
everything.
To a science. It's actually not that hard. Yep.
Excellent.
And we got the super chat from Greg Kirby. Speaking of sequels, Monster Squad should have been Goonies 2. Could have been. Sounds like
it. Here's the thing.
I actually like at the end where when the vortex is going and Frankenstein's disappearing and she lets him take his teddy bear. I always thought that was kind of funny.
It's a very cute movie that you wouldn't make today because of the cynicism of 2020. But there's like a pureness to it that the Goonies doesn't even have. Because you know how the kids are a little more mature for their age. These kids are trying to be like that, and they'll throw out some words and shit to try to look cool. But they just don't feel natural. They feel like kids trying to be older. The Goonies were coached better. I mean, Shane Black wrote the film. I don't know who directed it off the top of my head, but you had Richard Donner and Steven Spielberg. Spielberg's always got great performances out of kid actors.
Sure.
So I'm just saying you have more
some of it's
talent behind
just some of
the
it's
screen.
just the intuition when you're casting. You know, like if you go through enough with the casting and enough like screen tests and stuff before you actually land on your casting. Because really, I mean, at the end of the day, the performance you're going to get out of your child actor depends very heavily on the child you choose. So, some of that, just having that intelligence to pick the right people.
I'd like to take a moment and defend Jake Lloyd that if he'd had a better director, his performance would have been good.
It wouldn't surprise me. I don't even think it was, and that's one of the things, I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people like to say it is.
I agree. I think people give him way too hard a time. And the fact that people have...
Wizard.
Seriously, the way if you listen to kids though, I mean, like all these.
Dude, I'm giving you shit. I don't even. I feel bad for him too. I mean, his life was ruined by that movie.
It was totally ruined. And the thing is he's really not that bad. I think people were so fucking spoiled because we've seen a handful of really great kid actors come through, but that's the exception, not the rule. The rule is, and the thing is, if you go to, I know what's expecting, this big movies, this Star Wars movie, this whatever, go and watch movies with kid actors in them. Everyone focuses on the ones with these brilliant, stars like Miss Sunshine or, that's only,
or Sixth Sense.
Yeah, it's Sixth Sense.
Like was a really damn good actor.
Sure. And it's that's, again, the exception, not the rule. Even if you go watch, like, Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin's performance isn't anything special.
But he brings something. Jake Lloyd felt very coached.
That's the thing. I don't disagree. What I'm saying is, like, this like Oscar-worthy performance from an 8-year-old is the exception, not the rule.
Two things. It's first off, it's Star Wars. Nobody's Oscar-worthy. Like,
exactly. No one's fucking. Even Natalie Portman was subpar.
What I'd like to say that Star Wars movies are not a place for kids. You shouldn't see kids in Star Wars. It's a war movie. Kids that go see it. Here's the thing, George Lucas. All those billions of dollars you've made off the original trilogy, little kids like to watch older characters achieve shit. Right. Like if I were to write a property for, let's say, teenagers, my characters would be early 20s and you'd have a couple older characters too. Because as kids, I love the Power Rangers. Why? Because they were older and they were cool. Batman's in his 30s. Spider-Man, when I was a kid, was a married man. I always liked the older characters. I never stuck around. Like, look, the Spider-Man figure came in the mail because of the shit I liked as a kid. These old young characters, I don't care about.
Well, the thing is, when you're a kid, it's kind of the whole thing that we talk about even as an adult, not wanting to watch these movies that are like so grounded in the here and now and the current reality and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like you want to watch, you want to escape into fantasy. When you're a kid, you know what it's like to be a kid. You want to watch what the cool adults are doing and imagine like, oh, when I'm an adult, I'll be this secret agent, this whatever, all this crazy stuff.
You know, as a point, my favorite South Park episode of all time, for the same reason that the creators like it, is the episode where the kids are playing like Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
and they're returning the porno.
Is that Backdoor Sluts 9, right?
Yes. Because, Jeff, let's be honest. As little boys, we had spatulas that were swords, and we put on towels that were capes. That's what little boys do. And that was great. It was just boys being boys.
Excuse you. I think you're talking to the wrong audience. I'm pretty sure I was the cape-wearing, fake sword-wielding child. Jeff just played with his toys.
Well, and being fair, Jesse, you were one of the girls that we actually welcomed into the guys club because you know this is what I always loved about the original trilogy with Leia. Leia wasn't a tag along.
No,
Leia belonged in the main group. She was a fighter. You respected her.
One of my friend's birthday parties, per her request, we all dressed up as Lord of the Rings characters. I had this cape. I wore cape like that. We went over to her house. We watched. I think probably only the first one was out at that point. We watched Fellowship of the Ring. And we fucking walked to like 7-Eleven or some shit in our capes to get snacks. That's what that's absolutely what was up. No, I agree with you. I love that episode because it was so. I think South Park does that well. South Park got obviously they go to the nth degree for parody's sake, but like the dynamic between the friends, they got that so much. Everyone had like the Kyle, that one friend who was a different religion, whether it was Jewish or whatever, something about their family, whether they were different ethnicity or a different religion or a different this, and everyone they were normal for every other reason, but you always fucking ragged on them for that thing that made them different.
Yep.
You had your friend who was maybe the poor friend who didn't have as much as the rest of you guys did, and that was what and you had the asshole Cartman friend who always wanted, you guys, the one you had to placate or he was gonna have a little tantrum and go home.
And the one thing I loved in that episode is you always had that one Fred. It's like, we're all playing Lord of the Rings right now, and you've got your stormtrooper helmet on, and they're like, we should use it to fuel our power cruisers. And Cartman just goes, Kevin, God damn it.
Okay, dude. Stratus Radio Blue says, seeing we're all talking about childhood heroes, would love to hear your thoughts in The Gate if you have seen it. Terrified.
I haven't.
I have.
I haven't.
Okay, first off, Stratus Radio Blues, I'm going to tell you a story that only you'll chuckle at. So I used to listen to this horror podcast religiously. I was just going to tell the story, I'll drink. Cool. I used to listen to this podcast religiously called Bloody Good Horror. And so they're talking about stupid crap they found on eBay. And they said, somebody had auctioned off on eBay The Gate from The Gate. The joke is there's no gate. It's like a whole thing. So somebody's just made a fake gate and lied to people and made thousands of dollars. So every time somebody brings up The Gate, the Stephen Dorff, I fucking lose it because I think of this eBay bid where it's somebody, The Gate from The Gate. That's like saying this is the Halloween from Halloween. What? But anyway, to answer Stratos Radio Blues' direct question, seen it, like it. I didn't catch it until I was a little older, so it doesn't scare me at all. But it's like a kid horror movie where I think the kid's parents go out and these little creatures start coming out of the bed. They're cool too because they're claymation. I think they kill some of them, so it shows it. It's a good movie. We should watch it. I think this portal just opens up. It's been probably 6 or 7 years since I've seen it, but it's got.
I got to grab another beer. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Oh, it's got the 80s trope with the nerdy friend and all this shit. It's very Poltergeist, E.T. rolled up into a ball.
It weirdly reminded me of a nightmare. I'll never forget this nightmare that I had as a kid. This is the one that scared me the most. I don't know why, but it was. I dreamed that my brother was swinging on a swing set. And I can tell you the playground that it was at. My brother was swinging on a swing set, and I was on my knees, shimmying underneath. I think we would even try to do that sometimes as kids, where it's you try to shimmy underneath them while they were swinging and stuff like that. So I'm doing this in my dream, and my brother swings over me, and all of a sudden this crate just falls on top of me, and I'm trapped in the dark with these two creep-tastic, something that Tim Burton would cook up, kind of little. They would have been claymation style characters, if this had been a movie or some shit. With these two creepy little creatures who kept trying to get me, and I was all at the other end, kicked one at one point to keep it away from me. But it's the whole fucking nightmare is being trapped with these things, trying to stay away from that, let them kill me and whatnot. It's fucking terrifying. I hated it. I think that's why I've always, and I don't know if it's the nightmare created that or just for some reason I've always it's always gotten me that like sense of being trapped, you know, that like you can't get away kind of thing. Like anytime in a horror movie where you're not safe, like one of the things that always gets me is the twist in 1408. Have you seen it?
Yeah. When it first came out, Michigan State had a screening or whatever.
Yeah.
Or no, wait. I caught it on the TV channel. Remember I told you we had this channel that would play like whatever hit DVD?
Yeah.
Like, that day it was show up. So I caught it that way.
Fair enough. And
it's interesting though what scares you in horror versus what scares me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's an unsettling stuff that always gets to me, but like the shit that could happen, like the scariest movie I've ever seen is called The Den. Not because it's actually scary, but because everything in the movie could happen, because it's about somebody who hacks into a woman's computer, tracks her down, kidnaps her, and puts her in a sex ring and films her and puts her online.
Oh.
And then she tries to escape, they kill her. And that's that's not even the whole movie, but like that scared me because that could happen. Not to me personally. I mean, who's going to be able to fucking drag me out of a building? But like, seriously, I'm like, wow, that's creepy because I guarantee, like, you hear about the dark web and shit.
Oh, sure.
I guarantee you some shit has happened like that to somebody.
That stuff freaks me out too. Like the super could be real ones. But yeah, but definitely like, I think that powerlessness, that when you have no ability, like that's what always fucks with me when you get to the end of a horror film and there's that sinking realization for the character. I actually liked, I like it. I want to be scared. I want to be freaked out. I want to be, ugh. So I actually like horror films without happy endings, because you get to that moment where the characters realize they're fucking doomed and they've never had a chance.
Will tear your soul apart.
What I like. That's why I love that moment, the twist in 1408, because you're like, oh shit, he is completely powerless in this situation.
Oh, 1408 was great.
Dude. I was just saying that's
Was
like
Stephen King?
Adapted into a movie. I mean, it's hard to say because Shawshank Redemption exists.
Horror. I always remove Shawshank, Stand By Me, and Green Mile when I ask that question, because
I think that 1408 is the scariest adaptation I've seen of a Stephen King work. Like
I would agree with that. Have you seen?
It's the only one I've seen that like actually unnerved me or freaked me out in a way.
Yeah, actually, I will tell you, this was a testament to John Cusack's acting. Mm-hmm. The scene where his daughter appears in front of him and he looks and sees her feet are bleeding. Yeah. The look on his face. I don't have children, but I have nephews.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I know exactly the look on my brother's face if he saw his son hurt like that. It would be the same look. Yeah. And John Cusack does such a good job in that moment. But it's a terrifying film. I got to see that one in the theaters. It was great. But the other one that I've seen recently that I like, have you guys seen Dr. Sleep?
No, we've been meaning to
watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it. It's great.
I'm glad to hear from someone who liked it, because I know it didn't do great critically. So
I don't know why. It was good. It was creepy.
Good.
And the special effects were really good. I think part of the problem is there is a part of the scene where they revisit some of the characters and sets from The Shining, but you got to remember that The Shining was the prequel to this film. This is a sequel to The Shining. It's about Danny.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, when it comes to books, The Shining is one of my favorite books. I've read it twice. It is insanely terrifying.
It's much scarier than the film adaptation, and it's much richer in the world it creates. You know, for those people who are Stephen King fans, it actually, The Shining is the number one book that kind of it's sort of the number one way that like Stephen King lets you know that all his worlds are in a weird way connected, because it's the book that really talks about what the shine is, which is that comes hugely into play in the Dark Tower series. Even though I haven't read all those yet and whatnot, I still know, kind of like that. It was really neat, sort of understanding, like realizing that there's a way that's. It was sort of cool. It made me respect Stephen King more in a sense, because that was the moment you realize that all of his books take place in the same universe to an extent. The rules, and this is something I like, because it's something as a writer that I do in my head a lot, because I have certain things that all follow the same rules. He obviously operates in a certain amount of fantasy, because he's writing, supernatural beings and stuff like that. But that there's the rules that govern his worlds are consistent, whether he's writing The Stand or Dark Tower or The Shining. And it was sort of cool to see that through line. Anyway,
There were certain scenes that I wish they could have captured on film. Like, you've read the book, I take it.
I have.
The scene where Jack Torrance is looking out through the fence at the edge of the hill of the Overcrest, and he hears the rustling of the shrub animals.
Yeah.
And he turns around and he's like, he couldn't put his finger on it, but something bothered him, and then he realizes they've moved.
Mm-hmm.
That whole scene in the book is friggin' terrifying.
That's what used to freak my mom out the most.
And I just love the fact that they keep changing and they keep moving closer and closer. And then he's like, enough! And he looks up and they've all gone back to where they were.
Yeah.
And then it's that question for him. Is he losing his mind? Did he really see that?
Because that's what you don't get in the film that you really get in the book is that. In the movie, it's like, it's so much from Danny's point of view that you lose. Because the book is really more from Jack's point of view for most of it. And
We
it's
have Kubrick to thank for all these changes.
Yeah, of course.
Have you ever seen the TV version that Stephen King likes? It's truer to the book.
I haven't. No.
Nor have I. I don't even really love the movie The Shining that much because even as a kid, I was one of those kids that was scared by a lot of dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that movie very young. I was like, why is this scary? I'm like, the naked lady change. As an adult, I find it gross, and I enjoy the film, but that movie's not scary in the slightest bit for me. And
that scene in the book is way scarier, Jeff.
It really is.
There's the descriptions that he puts in. One of my favorite parts is when Jack goes to check out the room. There isn't the beautiful lady in the tub. He goes in and he smells like what smells like a bath running, and he looks and the shower curtain's there. And he goes up and he pulls it across, and there's nothing. There's no water, nothing. And he's like, "Oh, geez." And he walks out and he goes to the door to leave the room. And as he grabs it, and I love how Stephen King described this. He said, "The shower curtain all of a sudden rattled as it slid across like bones stirring in their crypt."
Mm.
So if you get this mental image, he's grabbing the doorknob and you hear, "Shh."
Yeah.
And then he turns around. And he looks in the bathroom and he can see the outline of a woman behind the shower curtain. And he just bolts like, holy shit, I'm out of here. And it's just in the book when you're reading that. I remember it was 1 a.m. and I was 18 years old and I'm reading the book. And I literally heard my house creak just go, and I went, it's nothing. It's nothing. But
yeah.
Oh my God! If they could get that, and I actually did see that scene in the miniseries, and they nailed it.
Nice.
And it was in the scene. It was exactly as it was in the book, and I was like, "Holy shit, yeah, that's." And I remember reading it and just being like, "Holy fuck!"
You should watch the miniseries and watch Dr. Sleep.
Well, no, Dr. Sleep, since made by Warner Brothers, follows the Shining movie.
No, saying maybe. Well, I was, yeah, I'm sure.
Well, it's like the visuals and all this stuff that
yeah.
might not be a part of the
Oh,
book.
that's fair.
Like they specifically because it's the same studio.
Sticking with the same visual.
Yeah,
that's fair. I do want to watch. Maybe we'll watch Dr. Sleep.
It is good. It's definitely worth a watch.
This is why when you're asking me about what's special about Halloween to me, it gives me justification to watch the same genre of movie for like 2 months straight. Everyone's in the spirit, and it's fun. And it's to me, Halloween is the perfect holiday because you can be any religion, you can be any race, you can be any age, because each age is different. I'd say from 4 to 12 trick or treating, 13 through 18 you go to like tame parties with like a chaperone or something.
Jews who aren't allowed to celebrate Halloween.
Well, some Jews. There are also some Christians who aren't allowed to because it's too close to say. But the point is, like, it's a non-denominational holiday. It really across the board. And then once you're an adult, college and up, it's the greatest party night because you can dress up, drink, whoever you want to be, and then next day you're ready for Thanksgiving. It's like the perfect holiday. And then you're ready for Christmas after Thanksgiving.
This is what I hear.
I have to agree with Greg Kirby on this. Have you guys seen the World of Warcraft episode?
When it came out.
I know I did, but it's been a long time. We're actually going through all of South Park again. It's like, I'm sure there's episodes I missed here and there. So we're just fucking going through it.
Today, I didn't remember. No, what was the one before the chicken pox? The episode we watched last night, didn't I go, I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was that we watched, but I didn't remember it either.
That's like season 3 or 4.
2.
The chicken pox. Oh, it's 2?
Yeah,
okay.
We're just watching through it again. No, but there's some stuff too early on. It's funny too because it's like there were so many things I forgot how early on they were because I first got introduced to South Park when it was probably 3 or 4 seasons old, and followed it a little bit then. and then fell out of it, and have like seen an episode here or there as it's gone on. So it's sort of funny to be like, oh, I remember this shit, from way back. And like thinking, I mean, like, they don't do Mr. Hat anymore, do they?
No, Mr. Hat's been gone a long time.
A long time. I think since Mrs. Garrison was a thing.
I think it was right after Mr. Garrison finally admitted he was gay and came out.
Because they even touched. I read out earlier they touched on that. There's an episode where it's like they touch on Mr. Hat, his closeted gay self, and whatnot. I thought it was like when he finally came out, he didn't need it anymore, and then he became Mrs. Garrison for a while, and then I knew I haven't seen him transition back, but I knew he ultimately.
Speaking of Halloween, interesting story. So there was one year for Halloween that I actually dressed up as Big Gay Al.
Yes!
Were you super?
Yes, I was. Thank you for asking. And and Ashley actually dressed it up as Mrs. Garrison. She put on a bald cap with cotton balls around, so she had the shoehorn. She had the vest and everything with the glasses. It was great. The best part was I even had like the blue bandana, and I put on like slightly tinted lip gloss. I showed up at my friend Eric's place. He opens the door and he goes, "Dave, how are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm super. Thanks for asking." The only criticism I got at the time was you're not big enough.
Yeah,
I was like, sorry. But it was funny. I got like almost an identical shirt with like the triangles that was like magenta and everything. It was a fun costume, and it was one of those things. Anybody who was a South Park fan knew exactly who I was.
That sounds perfect. Greg Kirby, we'll read the super chat. Obviously, we've already been you sparked us off on this whole train. But Greg Kirby said best South Park episode was WoW episode.
Oh yeah,
I still like.
And Adam Wofford says that's most Lovecraft stories where you feel powerless, you never had a chance, and now you see how the world will end, and you get a front row seat.
I've wanted to read some Lovecraft for a while because I see a lot of paintings based on the imagery, and I really like that dark otherworldliness. I just haven't.
Have you seen Underwater with Kristen Stewart?
Yeah, actually,
it actually was pretty good. I was surprised. It was a great Lovecraftian type of horror.
Ah, cool. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it start to finish. Jeff fell asleep in the theater, but it wasn't for the quality of the movie. Jeff hits. This is the thing about Jeff is that if his body is like it is sleep time, there is no negotiating. It is sleep time. Doesn't matter where.
That's Ashley.
Or what he's doing. It is sleep time.
That's Ashley.
But I do rebound quickly.
That's true.
Like when I dozed off at the party almost.
That's true. And you were back up.
I got up, walked around, ate a couple chicken wings, talked to you the entire ride back, talked to you when we got back. We hung out for even a few minutes.
You were crashing out in the chair at that in Columbus then, and then we ended up staying up most of that night.
That's true.
Bobby James.
We were just
oh yes, back when we totally no crushes on each other. Bobby James says, "WoW or Guitar Hero episode."
I won't say the words in general, but the joke at the end of the Guitar Hero episode when you hit the big score is the funniest shit in the world.
I actually don't think I've seen the Guitar Hero episode.
Well, and I tried to explain to someone that that's kind of how I felt, and I'm not going to say with that word. I'll reiterate to say you're a poser. Because I'm trying to be politically correct here, but that's kind of, here's the thing. I had so many friends in like the mid 2000s who were like, you got to play Rock Band, man. You got to play Guitar Hero. And I'm like, dude, I play guitar. This is like asking somebody who has a Subaru WRX and goes to the track on weekends to play a racing game.
So I enjoyed playing Guitar Hero insofar as I could play the songs, pick them up pretty easily and play through them and whatnot. When it got to the point where I was like, I would have to practice to beat the song on expert or whatever, I was like, if I'm going to have to put time in, I'm just going to go practice a real guitar.
Bingo.
I enjoyed the games. I actually really liked Rock Band or, when Guitar Hero had all the instruments and whatnot. I liked the singing part. I really enjoyed the singing part. Any excuse to sing for me was great. But when it came to the guitar, I was like, if I can't just pick this up and kind of do it, if I have to put time and effort in, I know how to play the guitar. I'm just going to go with that.
And see, that's what I said to a buddy of mine. My friend's like, well, if I wanted to put in the effort, that'd be great. But I mean, I'd rather just do this. And I said, dude, the songs you're playing, if you spent as much time on playing as you did on the game, you'd be playing them by now.
You fucking playing exactly. That was always where I got to them. Super fun games and whatnot. But as a musician, it was like, there's only so much.
So many of those. I had Guitar Hero, Rock Band 1 through 3, Guitar Hero 1. I had most of them up until about 2010, and I even bought Rock Band 4 for the PS4. It sucks.
Yeah.
I even bought I got it for $39 with a guitar. I thought this was an amazing deal. It had 3 or 4 good songs on it. They really have exhausted that genre. It's forever dead.
One of the funnest, actually, it was really fun. New Year's Eve, my friends and I got together. We played through all of Beatles rock bands. Beat the damn game. It was great.
Nice.
Sang every song. Greg Kirby, thank you for the super chat. Says Halloween as a kid, I dressed as a chef while my wiener dog had the first ever hot dog costume.
Yes.
Made. Nice. Brilliant.
Ashley dresses up the wiener dogs every year.
I love it.
As a matter of fact, the first year we had dogs, we got Elsa came later because Elsa's about 5. Chili and Pecan are about 9. We got Chili and Pecan together from the same litter. And from the day she brought her home, she was like, Chili should be a bee. So no kidding. The first Halloween, Chili, and I'll tell you what, I'll send you guys, I'll text you guys pictures of this. Chili was a bee, and she had the little bee with the dealy boppers and everything. Aww. And Pecan was dressed as a prisoner, and her hat said "bad dog."
Aww.
It was freaking adorable.
My cats would not tolerate costumes in the long term, but I do have an ugly Christmas sweater that I crocheted for the boys, and once a year I usually stick them in it and take pictures.
I've seen that photo. It's really not that ugly. Good job.
Well,
I know what you have.
And then you saw Han in the Santa suit last year.
I have.
Right?
Look at him. He's wearing it. Never again.
So it's one of my favorite pictures of him ever because it's just like that hood is going over one eye, and he just looks so dejected. It was a friend
Which cat?
Pet Santa suit. Right now he's busy playing with Pancake.
Take him, Shit Pancake. You're the best.
That's right. I'm the best.
I thought he was the Wyrst.
No, I'm the best. I'm the worst.
Shit Pancake should be Shit Pancake for Halloween this year. He should be a Dorfin.
I should be a Dorfin. Hooray! Hooray for Dorfin! Hooray for me! If you guys are not subscribed to Shit Pancake, you should be. I'm going to post it.
Oh, it's good stuff.
It's so fun. I saw he replied to your comment. He appreciated that you know how to pronounce Wyrst correctly.
Yes, I saw that. I was gonna say, by the way, here's a early 2000s Flash animation gag. If anybody gets it, a wagon full of pancakes. Anybody?
I don't know that one.
Homestar Runner.
I used to watch Homestar Runner.
I liked Teen Girl Squad, but I didn't like the rest of Homestar Runner.
Teen Girl Squad. Cheerleader. What's her face? So and so, the ugly one.
Oh my God, those are so fun. I had a friend who could do the voices spot on. She actually does voiceover now. It's funny.
That's awesome.
She's great.
Oh, Sweet Pea, that sounds awesome.
What did Sweet Pea say?
Me and my girlfriends all dressed up as Star Trek characters last year. I was Bones, and it was a real blast.
Nice.
Nice.
I had friends who talked about that because when the new Abrams Star Trek movie came out, they were showing it at the IMAX theater, like not just like a regular IMAX theater. They were showing it in like the domed IMAX theater at our science museum that used to be the biggest IMAX theater in the world. And we went to see it there, and it was fucking awesome like that. Like, even if you don't love the movie, the visuals were cool, the action was cool. So to see it on this like gajillion story screen where it's huge stadium seating to the point where you get vertigo walking up the stairs to sit down.
I've been to a place like that.
You know, and you feel like you're fucking flying anytime they're flying and all that shit. We were so high on that movie. I mean, just because of the experience of seeing it like that.
Did you see episode 2 when it was in like that?
No, we didn't get that one on that theater because that was the first Hollywood release we got on that theater was Everest because it was like it made sense.
What year was that?
God, that was.
Everest?
I think it was it was around that time. I want to say.
Just curious. I'm not trying to derail. I was just
Yeah.
remember that movie, kind of.
And it was sort of like the logical thing because it was very science-y, you know? It was very on brand for them to do. But then they very quickly dropped the veneer. They showed Star Trek there. They showed Dark Knight there. Another great film to see in that.
Have you guys seen? And this is a movie that it's an independent movie, and in the list of movies that Johnny Depp has done, where you go, the fuck? This is definitely in that category. Have you guys seen The Ninth Gate?
Yes.
That is a weird fucking film.
It is, and I like it.
It's one of those movies I can't understand why I keep watching it. I think there's certain parts of it that are like, ironically, Jesse, as a guitar player, I'm really big into pickup swaps. As a matter of fact, so like I'll be the first person that when I'm listening to your guitar, it's like I'm listening to your tone because I'm like, what pickups are you playing? You know, I do that. And so, like, for example, there is a set of pickups from Seymour Duncan called the Pearly Gates, which is actually Billy Gibbons' signature set. So that's, ZZ Top. And one of the things that's kind of a popular thing, if you like to screw around with your tone, and that's me, is in humbuckers, they'll do magnet swaps, and you'll change the different magnets. So Pearly Gates uses an Alnico 2 magnet, and something that's really rare because it's very, very powerful magnet and has a high output is an Alnico 9. So I actually put an Alnico 9 in the Pearly Gates bridge humbucker, and it actually gives it this really thick, chunky, almost metal-like tone. And so I renamed the pickup the Ninth Gate. And so I actually have a pickup set where it's the Pearly Gates neck with the Alnico 2, and then it's the Pearly Gates bridge with the Alnico 9, so it's the Ninth Gate, and I call it my Heaven and Hell set.
You're such a nerd. We love it.
Oh, of course.
All right,
I don't have a problem.
This was Everest documentary, not I guess there was a feature film made in 2015.
Was that the one with the guy from? I looked it up. I think it was the guy with Terminator.
Yeah.
Because the documentary one, like it had a theatrical release. I remember that was a big deal. Like it was sort of a big deal because there was a lot of this film, a lot of like footage from actual being on Mount Everest and stuff like that. So 98. So it was before. It was well before Attack of the Clones, but they didn't start doing like Hollywood blockbusters and stuff until later on. That's just I remember that because it was exciting because it was like they showed it in the evening. You know, like you would see after the museum was closed, there was this whole event where you got to go and stuff like that.
So,
and let me tell you, as an 8-year-old, I know it was a documentary. As an 8-year-old, that was fucking terrifying. That's probably the reason why I've never had any desire to climb Mount Everest.
I don't want to fuck with nature at that level. Like, oh, you want to go on a little hike? Sure. You want to go do other stuff? I'd rather extensive growth flight.
I'm about like, hey, I'm going to go hit Mount Whitney, the tallest mountain in the contiguous 48. I'm all about that shit. Everest? Fuck that. No way. I haven't decided exactly what that numeric percentage is, but like realistically, once like risk of death, once like the odds that you die go up beyond like 1%, I start to get a little skeptical.
Well, and have you guys seen the film Rush?
No.
Is that the Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie?
No, Rush is it's a racing film starring Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, the Lotta movie or whatever, the true story.
Yeah, and it's done by Ron Howard. It's a great film. Cool. And he hooks up with Natalie Dormer at the beginning, which I always remember because I think Natalie Dormer is gorgeous. Forgive me. By the way, if you ever get a chance to see the movie The Forest, which is about Akigahara Forest in Japan, it's terrible. Don't waste your time. It's on Netflix. I watched it because I was like, oh, I'm familiar with the stories about Akigahara Forest, and I was like,
So this movie is the movie I was thinking of, and as a real Everest, it is got Jake Gyllenhaal, Jason Clarke.
One?
Yeah,
that's it. Jason Clarke. He was in Terminator Genisys.
Dude, I saw that in theaters. I'm glad I didn't pay.
Genesis?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Xenomorph Skull Hunter asked, I wonder how Pancake got his name. We actually have told that story before on the channel. Stay tuned. We might tell it again sometime.
Yeah.
But there is a story to how he got his name. But right now, I think that it is we're getting close to Mad Libs o'clock.
You know what that also
Mad Libs.
It's close to taco time.
It's close to taco time.
By the way, this place has green crack sauce for their tacos.
Crack sauce.
Crack sauce.
I'm really curious to try what green sauce is.
I just got to say before we go into Mad Libs, just one quick, if I may.
Of course.
Another favorite South Park episode because it is about the boys being boys. And Jeff, again, we all did this when we were like 10 years old. Fun with Weapons, where they all pretend they're anime characters.
Oh,
is
dude,
that Let's Fighting
that's
Love.
it. Let's Fighting Love.
That's my
Yes.
song I sing all the fucking
Let's
time.
Fighting
Hey,
Love.
hey,
Yeah!
Okay, so when we went
My Tonfa of Takanawa.
at the hotel, we were on the way back. We were jamming out to that in the car.
Fucking love that one.
Kendo's like, Jeff, give me the AE cord. I'm like, all right, the aux cord. I'm
I
like,
love
there you
even
go.
where they go with it, where they dress up Butters as a dog and take it to a bed. Like that's like shit of like, this is how we can't get in trouble. We got to figure out what this shit. Oh god, kids do all sorts of fucked up shit. That was a great one. That was so. They really like South Park. I mean, Trey Parker and Matt Stone really. They just have an intelligence on the human experience that they like. They know exactly how to riff on it, and that's why I think the show's continued to be successful and continue to be on air. Like I said, I've fallen out of it a bunch, but every year or so I catch an episode here or there, and I'm always surprised at how relevant it still feels. How they've still been able to keep it fairly fresh. While
their episode, though, one of the things I loved about that one, and this is really true about America. I had a buddy who he's LDS, and so he did his mission in Germany, and he was telling me, he said the big difference between films in Germany and films in the U.S. is in when your kids end up going to an R-rated film and you told them not to, and they did it anyway. You're like, well, it was violent, but at least there was no nudity. And he said in Europe, it's of course the difference. It's like, well, there's nudity, but at least there's no violence. And the best point of that, though, was in that episode where, Cartman is trying to sneak across the stage and he's pretending he's invisible by taking off his clothes. And the parents are more offended by the fact that Cartman was naked than the fact that you had poor Butters with a ninja star stuck in his eye. And I'm like, boy, it's like I'm embarrassed to admit that is so accurate.
Oh, God, yeah, right? Oh, my God. That was
exciting. We get to watch that soon after the stream.
Oh, that's true.
Or.
Also, I just loved that Professor Chaos's sidekick, and I'm sorry, it's a pun, but his sidekick is General Disarray.
Sim says did it.
That was a great episode.
That was like the last season that I watched South Park religiously, because when we had, and then I stopped watching it a little bit in high school, but I caught once Chef died, and then I've seen a lot of episodes throughout the years, but I haven't watched it regularly in a long time because I just don't have cable and I don't have the desire to hunt it down, because it's one of those water cooler shows that everyone talks about, and I go, okay, I got the gist and the jokes. There's no reason to watch it now. Yeah.
Did you see the episode where it's like Heavy Metal, the movie, like the animated film?
Oh. I actually had forgotten all about
Love
Pip.
that one.
I forgot all about Pip as a character. Because Pip was the Token before Token, and Token was the Butters before Butters. Mm-hmm. And so it was funny because it was like, because there's Butters now, Butters kind of became that thing forever. I always think like, remember when it was Token, it was kind of this role. I was thinking about Token. I totally forgot about Pip entirely.
With Pip, I actually dressed up as him once for Halloween, and I had little underpants gnomes pinned to my shirt. And on my back, I had the guy pointing up to the thing where it says, phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 2, phase 3, profit. And then I had 2 underpants gnomes pinned to my shirt, pulling a pair of whitey tighties out from under my belt.
That's perfect. That's so perfect. I still love that, like, phase 1, whatever, phase 2 blank, phase 3 profit as a thing. Like, people don't even remember where it comes from anymore, but it's still perfect.
Sean, you brought up a movie earlier that you keep watching, but you don't know why. That's Heavy Metal for me. I think it's a terrible fucking movie, but I can't stop watching. Like, if it comes on, I'm transfixed by it. It's on this Plex server I'm on. I tend to want to watch it every once in a while, but
I'm going to take one guess at why you keep watching it. You ready?
Yeah.
Boobs.
No. The violence. There's something about the violence of that movie that draws me to it. I think it's poorly made. The voice acting is cool because it's like John Candy and great actors like that. But, yeah, I just don't know what it is about my obsession with Heavy Metal. I fucking hate that movie. I can't stop watching it.
Have you guys seen the original Hellraiser?
Oh, yeah, it's a good movie.
Oh, yeah, Jesse, you need to see it. And the thing I like about that film, and the thing that really caught my attention, was the concept of it, that how you end up calling out the Cenobites was this desire to push your sexual desires to the limit. And I was like, oh, that is like so perfectly in line with like humanity and its problems. It's like the sexual desire just pushed to its extreme ends up being your demise. I was like, that's so unclean type of evil. It just makes you tingle on your spine. I love that.
We'll watch that, but we're not eating.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's right. Do not eat while you watch that film.
A movie that's over 35, almost 35 years old at this point is like so disturbingly real at times. There's a lot of skin peeling and torture.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, Doug Bradley has to be given a lot of credit that he's on screen for less than 5 minutes in that movie, but he has such gravitas as Pinhead that he's iconic, even if he never did a sequel.
There. I am going to run and pee real quick before we dive into that, because I don't have to go mid work on that. So talk amongst yourselves for a moment, and I'm going to jump into.
I will give you a topic. A Duran Duran is neither a Duran nor a Duran. Discuss.
Thank you, Linda Richmond.
Like butter. I saw Barbara Streisand. Both of her legs were like 2 sticks of butter.
I that character quite a bit. Coffee Talk with Linda Richmond.
555-4444. We'll talk. No big whoop. Oh, okay, I have to share this with you, Jeff. If you get a chance, I can tell you this because my mother is Italian, so I'm Italian. But there is a comedian on YouTube. If you look up, and this is literally the title. There's 3 videos of this. There's the original, part 2, and part 3, called "Shit Italian Moms Say." Now, let me tell you, the first thing that happens is her son is in the fridge, and he pulls something out, and the Italian mom comes and goes, "Don't touch that, it's for Thursday." And as soon as I saw that, I was like, my mom did that! And I'm not kidding. My mom had her whole week planned out. I mean, it's perfect. It's exactly what it's like having an Italian mom. So if you guys get a chance to watch that, seriously, the part that's funniest isn't just that it seems so kind of exaggerated. It's real. It's absolutely real. That's all that shit. Especially there's one where like she leans at her kids and she goes, "Lock the top lock." Yes, my mother always said shit like that. It's just great. But no, I will say that one of the most horrifying things I've ever heard in any horror film came in Hellraiser when when Pinhead appears and Christy is crying and she starts crying and he goes, "Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering." I'm like, I mean, really, it's just terrifying the way he says it. It gives you chills.
We'll add that to the list for this Halloween.
Are we still on Hellraiser? Or are we anything else?
Yeah, we're just waiting for you to get back.
Okay, well, I just wanted to do
Yeah.
this.
1 and 2, definitely watch. The rest you can skip. There's 10 of them.
Now,
We're not doing anything but 1.
that's fine.
2's okay. The rest.
We got some Mad Libs to get to, though. Well, we still got people watching. So, without further ado,
Yes.
we'll dive in.
And then to some tacos.
No, but yes, I want to get these tacos now.
And the boys, you can watch Homelander and eat tacos. This is the greatest night ever.
Great night. All right, so Mad Libs the clocks. We've got Jeff. We've got Sean, which means that every third word is going to the chat tonight. So chat, get yourselves ready. For those if you happen to have not ever played before, we take your suggestions. If someone sends a super chat, it supersedes the suggestions. Otherwise, we just bounce to whatever you guys. We pull whatever one amuses us most out of the chat, and then we read it all together at the end. Yeah. So that's
Xenomorph. I like Tarna and B-17 as well, but I also like Harry Canyon, the first one.
cool. All right.
Because of the death ray.
Thank you for sharing.
Greg, don't reference Brie. Come on, dude.
So,
Because he said shut up and drop the taco.
I saw. All right, Sean, adverb.
Adverb?
Mm-hmm.
Remind me.
Hold on. Chat, you're getting a noun first. So, chat, start working on your nouns. Sean gets an adverb. So, that's the ly words, modifies a verb.
Okay.
Something blankly.
Stankily.
Stankily. Ooh.
Yeah, I just figured we'd go with something weird and stinky.
Stankily. That
Stankily.
sounds like a hot reference.
Jeff, you get a number. 50-11. Or you want 69?
69, dude.
69, dude.
You took dude with it.
I liked the third one. I really did.
Realize we never talked about James Bond at all.
But we did need a shut up Ted moment, and I didn't. Correct me if I'm wrong. We didn't get a shut up Ted moment.
We did not get a shut up Ted moment.
That was one of my favorite moments in the first one, and then in the second one, I can't believe that your mom does like. What is it? I can't believe that Missy divorced your dad and married mine. Shut up, Ted.
They could have done that in the beginning too. They could have done a do you still have to call her mom? Shut up, Ted. They could have done that. That's fair. I'm glad you liked it though.
Oh yeah.
I took the time to put like the James Bond text and whatnot on the thing. We're like all stoked to talk. We never fucking talk.
I'm glad I
about
didn't make the title card.
We've got a noun from Beth. Roadkill.
And a drink.
And a drink. Even better. That's why Mindless is the best on Thirsty Thursday nights, because we get suggestions and
yes. To Beth, my favorite Canadian.
Yeah. So
and Greg, my second favorite Canadian.
So chat, you guys are gonna have a number next. We already used 69, so I don't know. Have fun. Figure out another number. Sean, you get another adverb.
Really? Okay.
That is an adverb heavy. Well, there's only two adverbs.
In the vibe of Bill and Ted, bodaciously.
Bodaciously. Nice. Bodaciously. Jeff, you get an adjective.
How about the oily?
Oily. Nah.
I will say that I got to give Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves credit. They slipped into an older version of Bill and Ted perfectly.
So nicely.
Yes.
In honor of the topic we didn't get to tonight, the James Baker gave us 007. By
the way, I was the 7th subscriber
for
to Ship Pancakes channel.
Oh yeah, you told me. He loves you so much, and everyone should subscribe to Ship Pancakes. I'm going to post the link to his channel, so y'all go do that because he's real special. And yep, that's all.
I have to admit, his yellow eyes are really cute.
Right?
Cute,
it's funny. They get yellower around Halloween. They do. They did it last year, and they did it this year again. They're like super orange right now. It's like the way you see them in the background here. That's what they look like right now. Someone's up to pancakes. Chat, you're working on a verb for us. Sean, you get a plural noun.
Ooh, a plural noun. Harmonicas. I figure because this is still like the Kama Sutra stuff, right?
Yep, we're still in Kama Sutra.
How harmonicas are going to work into sex, I don't know, but this should be fun.
We'll find out. Jeff, you get a past tense verb.
How about
fucked?
Fucked?
Fucked. It's a good past tense verb.
It is.
So chat's working on a verb.
Have you guys seen the video about the word fuck?
Like the fuck that fucking fucker and all the forms of
that. My favorite is the, who the fuck was that?
What was I going to say? Oh, I saw a great local comedian once, not a native English speaker, do an incredible bit on the word shit and how like they can't figure out what it means because it's used in so many different ways. Like this is shit versus that's shit versus like whatever. There's like a whole bunch of different like it just being super confused on whether this is a good word or a bad word or like what it means. It was so perfect. I've always been envious of comedians where English is their second language because there's so many good bits you can do about how stupid English is.
Yes.
You can't be a native English speaker in order to make it be funny.
That brings me back to Half Baked. Well, my father's in jail because he's a drug dealer. That must be the shit. Well, he's in jail for life. That must be shit.
Exactly. Oh, we got our verb. Just as I was gonna go pick, we got our verb from Stratos Radio Blues. Nibble. That's it.
Oh, that's a drink too.
And a drink. Yeah. We'll leave this up there and make sure we get it when Jeff.
Jeff owes us a swig.
He does. I'm sure he'll be thrilled to do it too. And you, my friend, owe me an adjective. Chat, you guys are working on a noun next. So switch
An
over.
adjective. Okay.
Sure. No, you just owe us a drink because Stratos Radio Blues sent a nibble for our verb.
Okay, so adjective.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we go with awkward?
Ooh. That definitely could go well. Jeff, you're getting a plural noun.
Shopping carts.
I saw Beth say she has no alcohol tolerance. So here's a drink for people who have no alcohol tolerance. If you want one shot that will literally put you on Buzz City for the rest of the night, it's called liquid cocaine.
Ooh.
That is Goldschlager,
Okay.
151, and Jägermeister, all in equal parts.
I think that would kill Beth. I think she would just die.
One shot will put her on her ass. The first time I got introduced to that, I had 3 shots to that. I will admit, I was in college. I came home, and I was having problems with my sound card on my computer. So I came home. It's 3 a.m. My roommate's asleep, and I started playing Unreal Tournament. And his description of the evening was all of a sudden he wakes up to hearing,
Headshot! Multi-kill! Monster kill!
and then, of course, the inevitable, Sean, huh? I'm trying to sleep. Oh, sorry. I was a little too drunk to realize I was upsetting my roommate.
Stratos Radio Blues, you're lucky you have memories after fucking with one.
I agree with that statement.
I've been there, done that. I like any alcohol you can set on fire, but there's a mind eraser, which is a cool layered drink. It's vodka. Is it vodka Bailey's soda? Because usually that's what use the easiest one to layer. What's in a mind eraser? But the idea is it's layered over ice. It's layered over ice. Oh, Kahlua. Okay, it's vodka, Kahlua, and stuff. So you put the Kahlua down first. You layer it up. Or actually, I think you put the vodka in first, and then if you pour the Kahlua right, you can actually layer the Kahlua on top of the vodka, and then you layer the club soda. So that's one way. That's usually what you do with Bailey's when you want to layer it. There's a really neat layered shots you can do with Bailey's where you throw grenadine in, and it almost gummifies like the way it.
I've seen a lot of those
God,
videos.
it's so cool. I made those shots. They're really fun. But it's just Kahlua vodka and club soda in equal part layers, and you put a straw in it, and you're supposed to just suck it all down. A fast shot, and it erases your mind. It's delicious.
I have the world's greatest competition shot. You guys ready for this?
Uh-oh.
Now, I'm going to admit this. I got taught by the NAU Judo Club because I did judo up at Northern Arizona University, and it's called a stoplight. Now, the way this works is like if the 3 of us are sitting at a table and we order a round of stoplights, it's 3 glasses, and it's just like a stoplight. At the bottom is Midori Sours, in the center is banana schnapps, and the top is cinnamon schnapps. And the thing is, you have to drink one, put the glass down, drink, and then stack, and then drink. Now, here's the thing. Out of the 3 of us, whoever finishes last pays for the round.
Oh, I like that.
I wouldn't be paying for much.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to give you a run for your money on that one.
If we're in a group of other people.
Yeah.
It is my experience that whoever is the biggest giant of the group, so Jeff, usually will put us all to shame. Like I said, my friend of 25 years who's 6'6", like we all try and like chug a beer. We'll take a glass like this, and like my friend who's 6'6" is like this, boom, done. And the rest of us are all trying to catch up.
I wish we had a giant beer to chug right now. I would do it.
My friend, Adrian, fastest chugger I ever met. She'd take a beer and just gone.
I knew a guy, he used to be Dion's former best friend until, anyway, I'll tell you that story off air, but we used to shotgun beers together in college.
Nice.
He used to be like, all right, I'm going to stab it for you. Get ready, go. He did that shit.
It's shotgunning. We never like did shotgunning like races or anything like that, or like, oh, you have to shotgun a beer. I'm pretty sure my friends and I were just like, We've never shotgunned a beer. Let's just try it. And I'm like, this is stupid.
Now,
Okay.
I'll tell you, one time Dion and I tried to get drunk in record time.
Yeah.
We were pretty much feeling it. It felt like 12 minutes because we timed it. We were like, dude, I think I'm feeling it because we chugged straight liquor. We're like, because we wanted this party across the hall with these girls, and they had been drinking for hours. I said, Dion, I will wait for you till you get off work. So the party started at like, I don't know, 9. Dion gets off work at midnight. So I've just been waiting around. So, dude, we got to party it. We start chugging liquor and get over to this party. And I think we got drunk in 12 minutes.
Hooray.
If it's physically possible, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's possible. We did get our noun from Bobby James. He said, in gerbil. An excellent choice.
Felching.
Need a little more
I need a little more.
We'll taste the gin.
Gin in the other.
I'll pour you just a short one since we're probably going to be done here pretty soon. Little nibble of gin. A little sploosh of tonic. Plenty of lime.
Beth, you should be happy with coffee. Coffee is a wonderful thing. It is a gift from God to all mankind.
Except the coffee where that animal shits out the beans and then you.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. I refuse to eat anything that has actually passed through the ass of an animal.
That sounds unfortunate.
Just like hot dogs.
Bee vomit, different story.
Honey. Honey is one of the greatest things on this earth, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise.
We have a nice, expensive jar of it in the fridge.
Me too.
Not the fridge.
Have you guys ever had mesquite honey, like all natural mesquite honey?
No. Manuka
Oh, God. Get mesquite honey. Trust me. That is like heaven.
Manuka honey is my shit. I'm all about Manuka honey.
Manuka honey is good, but mesquite honey, imagine honey that has a complex flavor and a hint of spice.
That sounds delicious.
Oh, it's fantastic. I can eat that raw. Just give me a spoon. I'm good to go.
I didn't used to like honey that much when I was younger, but I do. I always liked it with apples though, because once a year at Rosh Hashanah, Jewish New Year, you eat apples and honey for sweet New Year. So chat, you guys are working a noun now. So nouns for you guys.
Yes, mesquite honey, Stratos, Radio Blues.
Sean, person in the room.
Person in the room. I'm going to go with Ashley.
Ashley.
He's not visible, but she's here.
Just like Shit Pancake. He's not visible, but he's there.
Hello.
I thought it was so uncool that Lando was like, "Get away from me, you wretch."
That's the whole. That's sort of Lando's. That's sort of his shtick. Is he's got this. And if he ends up more on camera, you'll hear he basically talks in this very soft German accent, and he's very miserable about most things in the world. He goes, "Die, bitch," and then goes back to talking like he never raised his voice at all. Jeff, you get a color.
Mauve.
Mauve.
Nitrous oxide.
That MAUVE.
Not periwinkle.
I just think of that scene in Beetlejuice when they're walking through the house. Oh, by the way, even though this isn't a plug for anybody has 4K TV, new Beetlejuice set came out, and what is it?
Nice.
Look for the recently deceased.
That's awesome.
So
Ashley is a huge Beetlejuice fan.
Dude, it's a whole box set. It's got the 4K disc, the Blu-ray disc, the digital code. It's also got all kinds of extra bonus shit. So
that's awesome.
A surprise gift.
I'm taking a picture of this too.
You know what I really want to get actually, and I'm not a huge anime guy, but there was a manga called Hellsing.
Yeah, I know Hellsing.
And then they did an anime, but it wasn't really true to the manga. And then they did a Hellsing Ultimate that was really true to the manga. That one I want to get.
We got a shit.
How much anime to work to get there. So I took a picture of the James Baker Super Chat fish taco because in college.
Fish taco.
Which is our noun. Thank you. This will be our last chat suggestion. But thank you so much, chat. I had a friend in college who used to always. He would always make like really suggestive jokes. He was gay too, which made it even funnier because he would always. On a day where there was fish in the cafeteria, he'd get tortillas and he'd make his own fish tacos. And then he'd just always like make endless jokes about, eating fish tacos and stuff. And so from then on, like that was always our thing. Even after he graduated, we would just always, and then we saw his fish tacos on the menu, we'd take a picture of it and send it to each other. So I'll send this to him tomorrow. So thank you, D. James Baker. Also, it's 11:11 here. Make a wish. You guys all get to make wishes on our time. Sean, are you guys on our time right now? I know Arizona's broken. Okay, I thought you're on our time for the next couple of months, and then you'll go back to being regular because you guys just pretend
We should
daylight
just order
savings doesn't
fish
exist.
tacos. too.
We don't have daylight savings time. We're too pretentious for that.
Yeah.
Clearly. And so, Sean, you're going to finish it off with a noun.
A noun. Okay, I can't help it. Chocolate starfish.
Yeah.
I had to do something totally dirty.
I just thought you were a Limp Bizkit fan.
Better taste than that. Thank you, V. James Baker, for fish taco. And without further ado, we're ready to read Kama Sutra 2.0. That is tonight's topic.
2.0.
So,
2.0.
all right, you ready?
Yes.
Was stankily different when the Kama Sutra was written 69 years ago. So what would the Roadkill Sutra be like if it were written today?
Ew.
Ew. First of all, the writing is bodaciously confusing. You have to be an oily genius to understand some of the concepts in the book. It would be much easier to write the book as a series of tweets. Text the book in 007 characters or less. Thing in the hole. There you go. Second of all, some of the harmonicas in the book are totally outdated. Been there, fucked that. If you want to learn how to nibble, you can just go online and watch some awkward videos. Yeah. To make an impact on today's shopping carts, the Kama Sutra would have to feature gerbil stars like Ashley Jameson and Sasha Mauve.
I wish I had her because I would have put Gray in there.
Gerbil stars. Oh, man. Plus, the Kama Sutra really only covers sex between a man and a woman. Today's Kama Sutra would totally include sex between a man and a fish taco. A woman and a chocolate starfish. No judgment and all of the above.
That's progressivism, folks.
So well.
That's how we do it.
That was so terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow. Speaking of awkward videos, joined us on the matriarchy yesterday. Anna has a friend who likes her ponytail a lot.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
So much so where he made a video that's a compilation of all the Instagram photos of her hair in a ponytail, plus multiple title screens with effectively a novel written as an ode to her ponytail and to her as a person. So if you ever watch Anna, that Star Wars girl, if you're ever on her streams or her videos, always make sure to drop a comment letting her know how powerful her ponytail is. Because it was awesome. It was so weird because it was clear that this person was like, just has a thing for ponytails. And it was a very heartfelt, very celebratory and you know, sweet video that was also really kind of creepy in its own way. So y'all should watch it. And y'all should subscribe to Shenanigans. And you should subscribe to Sean FireFart at Go Big Boy or Go Home. The description is right there in the chat. If you haven't done so already, he's a really cool dude, as you can see, with a really cool channel, and you'll learn stuff about guns, like I have. Any last words, Sean, before we bounce for the evening?
In respect of Bill and Ted 3, be excellent to each other.
Party on, dudes.
One thing I'd like to say, fun fact, since you brought up Keanu Reeves. Today's fun fact, John Wick has more kills than Jason Voorhees combined.
Whoa.
And Michael Myers.
Oh,
Dude, combined, Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees have 297 kills. John Wick, 299.
nice.
And
I believe that Keanu Reeves' birthday is September 2nd.
Yeah, it was
Yep,
yesterday.
yesterday. Yep.
Yes.
So, Sean, Keanu, just find something to celebrate every day this month.
Keanu.
All right. Finally, as always, also subscribe to Jeff, World Class Bullshitters. He's the best. Also, come join us again tomorrow evening, starting 5 p.m. on World Class Bullshitters. Moving over about 90 minutes into the stream back onto this channel. Me, Jeff, Anna, the Star Wars girl, and Cecil, the one and only Cecil, will be getting together to talk The Boys season 2, first 3 episodes. They are available now on Amazon Prime. Make sure you check that out. give it a watch. We'll be talking spoilers till we're blue in the face. So make sure you watch those before you come join us.
And come back, and I'm gonna in the morning. It's like a good morning pop culture. I'm gonna try out this new Tony Hawk game and live stream it. So for anyone on the fence or looking for some '90s nostalgia, I might play the fuck out of this game for a while and just put it on our secondary channel and turn it into a thing. So
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. All right. So without further ado, the Corona Kiss. My favorite part of life
is fish tacos.